live from the virtual Nashville SuperSpeedway, an hour east of Nashville, Tennessee, and Lebanon, Tennessee. The SimRacerHub.com Truck Series brings you tonight's ButtKicker 200 here as we begin the Elite 8 of our inaugural playoff here in the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series. My name's Tyler Dittmer. Be joined later on in the booth by my co-anchor, William Tiller. Of course, Adam Flieger, our producer, as always. It's a great feeling to be back in the booth with you all night, calling tonight's action as we kick off our Elite 8 here on the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series. And it has been a playoffs to remember so far. Your regular season champion, Nathan Maurer, getting the job done last week at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Justin White coming oh so close to getting himself into the next round of the playoffs here. But speaking of playoffs, we have our 8 drivers who have moved on into the Elite 8 of the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series. And that includes your regular season champion, Nathan Maurer, and last week's winner. We have had the man who's been on a tear for the last 2 months with Adam Newbert, Brady LaBeouf, Kerry Tribute, your inaugural playoff race winner, Robbie Richards, Kyle Hess, Sean Hamilton, and Chris Blanchard, rounding out your Elite 8. As we look here at the cut line right now, you see the 4 drivers in green. They are currently above that cut line. That's Nathan Maurer, your regular season champion, with the hot man, Adam Newbert, Brady LaBeouf, the boss man, and Kerry Tribute. Kind of just been very quiet season so far for that number 7 machine. Meanwhile, as you look throughout the rest of the playoff grids, first driver on the outside looking in, that's Robbie Richards. He's only 4 points back to Kerry Tribute. Kyle Hess, though, 9 points back, part of Mission 1 Esports with Brady LaBeouf. Then you have Sean Hamilton, who will be joining that team next year. He's 10 points back. And then Chris Blanchard, 13 points back to start this Elite 8 round, which will have this race tonight, the ButtKicker 200 at Nashville SuperSpeedway. And then next week, we take it to the high banks of Talladega in the wild card round, where any one of those 8 drivers could win and lock themselves in, or we could have a surprise winner upset the playoff field and get a little bit of money in their pocket, even though they're not competing for a championship. So a lot of interesting storylines as we head further into the season. We're hoping to take you all live trackside now as we get ready for qualifying here in Nashville SuperSpeedway for the ButtKicker 200. So far, fastest lap in practice belongs to that 971 machine, last week's winner. That's Nathan Maurer with a 30.55. Meanwhile, Justin Lumpkin has a 30.80. Adam Newbert, 30.57. Adam Newbert also running a 30.57. Kyle Hess a 30.58, and Justin White also running a 30.58. Brady LaBeouf with the same time as those top 5. Interesting to see how these drivers compete tonight. The top 6 seeming to be head and shoulders above the rest of the field. Then you have a little bit of a fallback to Adam Newton there, 30.624 time-wise so far. They have Steve Barnett in that 42. Did not have the beginning as you see him around track here, coming off 3 and 4, trying to get a hot lap in as the session ends. So fortunately, this lap will not count. We're going to cycle it back and get qualifying going here relatively shortly. But now I'm joined with my man in the booth, Will Tiller. Will, I'm glad to be back this week as we enter the Elite 8 here in the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series.
Oh, man, I am so excited to have you back here in the booth, here in the city of rock and roll. That is Nashville here in the Elite 8, coming off exciting rounds during the Sweet 16. Now we got 8 drivers here vowing for 4 championship spots. I am curious to see who's going to lock in that first ticket here tonight.
Yeah, as we wait for drivers to get started in qualifying. The only other time, we've only raced here twice in NASRA as a whole, at Nashville SuperSpeedway in trucks, Will. Both times we're at night. This is our first day race at Nashville SuperSpeedway, at least in my memory, for anyone in the NASRA family of truck series, whether it be the Triple M Pulling Truck Series or the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series. And from what I've heard talking with the drivers pre-race, this track is a whole different beast when the sun comes out. Concrete surface here for the 1 1/3 mile intermediate. See Steve Barnett take it through 3 and 4 and get ready to start his qualifying effort.
Yeah, I would say it's a relatively new track that these drivers are used to. It's part of that new wave of tracks, I would have to say, Tyler, that's been introduced here in the last couple of years. You know, you look at the likes now coming up, the Chicago road course that's coming up. We have the LA Coliseum. So some of these new waves of tracks that maybe NASCAR is testing out to see how well they do right now here in the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series. This track will be a decider who moves on. Although some of these playoff races, Tyler, have been won by non-playoff drivers. So let's see if that's another blocker move here tonight.
It's a possible trend. Right now, Steve Barnett, your provisional poll, fastest lap he's run all night. That's a 30.48. Fastest lap we've seen so far tonight by almost 7/100ths of a second. So that's a non-playoff driver who's looking to upset the field tonight. He ran out his first lap, which we've generally seen be the slower of 2 laps for the drivers. So see how Steve Barnett's second lap goes here. Meanwhile, looking at the rest of the top 10, Kerry should be now with an effort that he wanted to see a 30.71, a little bit faster there on his second lap by. Steve Barnett does not improve on his second lap, so right now he'll hold that provisional pole with a 30.48.
We're taking a look at that scoring grid so far. Of course, the likes of Adam Newbert right there, second on that scoring pylon. Some surprise names. Tyler Daniels in that 95 currently has a top 5 starting position. Look at other names. Ron Hunter is currently inside the top 10. Pretty good run out of Ron in that 30.75. Other names up there currently inside the top 10. Zach Hartwick is in that 6th machine, just rating 30.94. So right now, Tyler's seen some surprise names inside the top 10.
Yeah, and I think we may see a few drivers try and pull some upset tonight. Maybe not necessarily getting the win, other than maybe Steve Barnett, who I think we have to be very concerned about, as well as Jason Morales, 2 drivers who have had great success so far this season. Maybe haven't had the finishes to races they needed, but they can definitely be competitive all night long, Will. But when we look at those 8 playoff drivers here, this is round 1. Essentially, if all 8 of them start tonight, I think they all have a shot going into next week, regardless of how poorly tonight may go for these drivers. Because next week we go to Talladega, where it is a complete open field.
Yeah, and look at, well, of course, we're going to show those playoff standings probably throughout tonight's race here at Nashville. But some of those drivers that I'm looking out for here tonight, Robbie Richards in that 48 machine needs a good run here tonight at Nashville. Some other names to throw in the mix, Kyle Hess right there, Sean Hamilton, which I don't see him currently running his qualifying lap just yet, and Chris Blanchard, another name to watch out for right now in the 11th position on that qualifying run. Some drivers that really need to step it up here tonight if they want to move on.
Yeah, as we saw a quick glimpse of those playoff grids, and like I mentioned in pre-race, Robbie Richards, that first driver outside that cut line, -4, trying to chase down, I want to say, Kerry Tribune, who I believe is +4 on that cut line. Right. Brady LaBeouf +9, so he's a little bit of an advantage coming in over Kerry Tribune. But really, if I'm Brady LaBeouf, I have to make sure I stay ahead of Kerry Tribune in both stages and in the race when it comes to tonight's race, because I do not want to be in that 4th position going into next week at Talladega, where anyone in the top 8 could win.
Absolutely not. And I think next week's race at Talladega, all these drivers have had that race circled, but not for a good reason, Tyler. All these drivers dread that race. They don't want their playoffs to edge on that race. We all know the big ones happen at Talladega. You go 3 wide racing. Any little domino falls could be the end of not only your race, but your championship hopes in a hole. So these drivers here tonight, they're going to come out of the gates hungry, ready to punch their tickets.
Yeah, as we see, the 4 playoff drivers currently inside that top 10. 3 of them right there in a group. That's 4 through 6. That's Nate Maurer, Brady LaBeouf, Adam Newbert, your top 3 coming into tonight. And then you look back to Kerry Tribune there starting at 9th. So the top 4 coming into tonight are already the top 4 so far in qualifying of the 8. We're still waiting on Sean Hamilton and Kyle Hess to run qualifying laps. But for the meanwhile, it looks like we may have a night of holding serve up top, barring a great lap from Kyle Hess here in qualifying.
Yeah, we'll take a look right now. Barnett still at the top, as you mentioned. Justin Lumpkin, a surprise name up there, right there in the 2nd spot. Justin White, we've seen what Justin's been able to do the last couple of weeks. Tyler really played a playoff spoiler for some of these drivers in that 2 machine. Nathan Maurer, another good run out of that 4 in 4th position right there, 971, looking for another win here at Nashville. Just a few minutes left, Tyler. Looking at a track like Nashville, what would be a comparable racetrack that some of these folks at home here in the NASCAR 360 Racing Network might be able to reference here in tonight's race?
It's so hard. Hopefully we can maybe get an onboard Kyle Hess. He's on his qualifying lap right now. But this track is kind of its own beast when you look at how the tracks that NASCAR currently runs. It's 1 1/3 miles, so lengthwise it's most comparable to Darlington. But it's a concrete surface like Bristol. You see Kyle Hess jumps up to 3rd there on his first lap. We'll see what his second lap does here. Concrete surface, though, more comparable to that of Bristol. So it's kind of a difficult track. And unlike Bristol, where we generally see night races, we're in the day here. So mile and a third in the south in the daytime is going to produce a very challenging race for some of these drivers.
Definitely right now, as we got about 3 minutes left in this qualifying session here in the ButtKicker 200. This is the start of the Elite 8 playoffs here in the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series. And Tyler, sometimes it shocks me when we come on the air here for this series that we're almost to championship time. This season has flown by here with a lot of storylines. Of course, we had Nathan Maurer win a bunch of races. Then Adam Newbert came out of the gates here. Nathan Maurer was our regular season champion. A little bit colder here in these playoff races. Right now has a great starting position. We see 3 championship drivers all going to start right there in the top 10. But right now, the top of the grid, with the exception of it looks like Kyle Hess at the top of that board, all non-playoff drivers start off this race.
Yeah, 4 of the top 5 are not, or correction, 3 of the top 5 are non-playoff drivers, including the front row lockout so far of Steve Barnett and Justin Lumpkin. And, we talk about the Elite 8 drivers, and a driver I'm surprised to see has gone this far, and for good reasons, not like I'm surprised as I think he doesn't deserve to be there, is Sean Hamilton. Sean Hamilton's had a lot of really bad luck so far this year. Unfortunate circumstances have led to him having bad races. Very talented driver, getting the job done currently in that Elite 8. All it takes is 2 very solid races from Sean Hamilton, and he's locked his ticket into the championship four. So interesting to see how Sean does tonight here. I know he's got a few challenges he's got to overcome, but he can definitely get the job done, so be it. So definitely a driver to keep your eye out for tonight. Kind of a dark horse, I would say, coming into this Elite 8 would be Sean Hamilton.
Yeah, and I have to agree with you there, Tyler. I think Sean just had a sneaky good season there, kind of under the radar, a little overshadowed by some of the other storylines there, but has just quietly made it through round by round here in the playoffs, has just gotten the job done, did what he had to do. Now here tonight, let's see if Hamilton can keep that momentum going. Not seeing him on the board here tonight, though. Of course, we're seeing Brady LaBeouf, Adam Newbert there, Kerry Tribune, Richards, Blanchards. Is Hamilton taking the grid here tonight, Tyler? I'm not seeing him there on the starting lineup.
Yeah, he's actually on track. Started his qualifying lap right now. He should be headed towards 1 and 2. So you should see he is in the session. I know he's going to try his best to make laps, but certain circumstances may prevent him from being able to complete the race. But he's going to try and give it his all tonight and put it out there as we're waiting for him to get his first lap in, as we have just 42 seconds remaining in this qualifying session before we go green flag racing the ButtKicker 200 tonight. I think this is a great time for us to do our little stage breakdown, stage preview of what we can expect in tonight's race. Stage 1 will be 35 laps, stage 2 75 laps, and then a total of 150 laps. But the big thing, Will, only 4 sets of tires. They only have 3 replacement sets tonight. That's going to make for a tough challenge because a lot of drivers were early on complaining about a tight condition, so that's going to really wear that right front.
Yeah, watch out for those trucks to start getting a little loose, those tails start to wag, if you will. Also, watch for the drivers to take those corners just a little bit easier lap after lap as you start to see that equipment. And it looks like Hamilton will start just outside of the top 10 there in 11th, but it looks like that's going to bring an end to our qualifying session here in the ButtKicker 200, Tyler. And it looks like our starting grid is officially set.
Yeah, our starting grid is officially set, and we're going to run through that grid, starting with your pole sitter. That is Steve Barnett in that 42 machine sitting outside of row number 1. That'll be Justin Lumpkin, the 18. Row number 2, first playoff driver on the grid. That's the 86 of Kyle Hess from Mission 1 Esports. And to his outside, trying to play spoiler tonight, that's Justin White in the number 2 machine. Row number 3 includes last week's winner, Nate Maurer, and Brady LaBeouf, who's very, very comfortable here at Nashville SuperSpeedway, has run great in the past in the Triple M Pulling Truck Series. Row number 4, you have Adam Newbert, the man who has been almost unstoppable in the last 2 months across all NASCAR series, and is outside my future boss man, Jason Morales, creating Highline Racing for next season. In row number 5, you have Tyler Daniels with one of his best qualifying efforts all season long, that 95 BP Racing for Autism entry. And is outside of row number 5. That's Kerry Tribune, another playoff driver looking to solidify his playoff positioning tonight in that 7 machine.
Yeah, then pick it up in the 11th position. We have the 89 machinist, Sean Hamilton. As you just mentioned, Sean has a lot to race for here tonight. In 12th, we have the 30 of Ron Hunter. In 13th, the 39 of Dan Hagan. 14th is that 48 machine of Robbie Richards. You spoke about him in this pre-race show here tonight. Robbie can really step up, make some noise here tonight at Nashville. 15th position will be the 6th of Zach Hartwick. 16th position will be the 24 of Brandon Broadfoot. 17th position will be the 14 of Chris Blanchard. 18th position, the 26 of Cody Knott. 19th position will be the 47 of James Morris. 20th position will be Charles Keller Jr. And we're looking at the 21st position of Adam Newton. And then we're looking at right there some other names on that board. We have Brandon Bullock right there, Stephen Thomas, TJ Moore, Michael Board right there, as well as Donnie Lyons to complete our field here tonight in the ButtKicker 200.
Yep, these drivers getting ready to roll tonight. Drivers getting ready to get rolling off the grid here. Pace car ready to pull away as we get ready to roll here in the ButtKicker 200 tonight. 35 laps tonight in stage number 1. Will, I'm looking for these drivers to maybe take it easy, understand how these trucks are going to handle tire wear.
Yeah, I think here in the city of rock and roll, I think these drivers are going to be very, very hungry out of the gates here tonight. Tyler, I think that's where we differ. I think some of these drivers really going to feel the pressure, especially some of these drivers here at the top of the grid. As we talked about here, Kyle Hess is in the mix of these non-playoff drivers. Watch for Kyle try to get to the top of the grid early, get some stage points, try to make sure he's into the next round.
Yeah, Kyle Hess is going to have to make sure he gets clear of 971 of Maurer and Bray LaBeouf in that 9 machine if he wants to make up some points on the field. So be very challenging tonight as these drivers get ready to go green. Looks like tonight, though, the field very competitive from top to bottom. Some non-playoff drivers looking to upset the playoff drivers. Should be a very fun race tonight, Will, as we kick off the Elite 8 in the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series. Steve Barnett getting ready to lead the field of green, waiting for Barney the flagman to get that green flag waving in the Geico restart zone. Steve Barnett hits the field. We got the green flag going. Green flag underway here in the ButtKicker 200 at Nashville SuperSpeedway.
Yes, right now Barnett in the 42 takes us off of corner number 2. Things are clean right now. You see that wide backstretch right here on the Nazareth 360 Racing Network. Barnett still clean into 3 and 4 right now. Tyler looks like he's going to lead the way right here on lap number 1.
Yeah, Steve Barnett controls lap number 1. Kyle Hess battling for that 2nd position. Then you have buddies Nate Maurer, Justin White back there battling for the 4th position. Maurer to the inside, Hess to the inside of Lumpkin. He should have the position clear off of 2. White to the outside.
Very tight right there for Justin White. Nathan Maurer, things are getting very dicey already here down the backstretch. Kyle Hess already has some pressure from his backside right now into 3 and 4. Nathan Maurer is getting antsy as well as you see him pull to the top side right now as we're off of corner number 4. Barnett still leading the way here to the start finish.
That's the best thing for Kyle Hess to see 2 non-playoff drivers between him and Nate Maurer and Brady LaBeouf. Brady LaBeouf to the inside there of Nate Maurer for the position number 5, entering 1 and 2. Brady LaBeouf will get the position on entry. Can he hold it on exit? Should be able to. Adam Newbert's going to look to the inside of Nathan Maurer as they come down the back straightaway.
Yeah, the boss man himself wants to get back into victory lane. Boy, it sure has been a wall for that 9 machine. From that momentum, from that win, though, has turned into a great season. Brady LaBeouf is in top 4 in those playoff points. The boss man himself wants nothing more to take home a championship in his own series right now. Running pretty strong here in the city of rock and roll.
Yeah, Brady LaBeouf holds that 5th position. Right now, playoff drivers are 2, 5, 6, 7, and then you have to go back to 9th. And the next one's all the way back in 12th, 13th, and then 15th. So that's where your playoff drivers currently stacking up. Bring up the rear of those playoff drivers is Chris Blanchard in the 15th position.
Yeah, right now you see Adam Newbert. This is quite the battle of the Nazareth heavyweights. We have brewing between Nathan Maurer and Adam Newbert. 971 in the 4. I'd have to think, though, here Tyler, in stage number 1, these drivers are just taking notes, experimenting through the stage. They'll probably do that in stage number 2 as well. And then you'll start to see all that Bill Nye, the science guy experiments come into fruition there in that last stage of racing. That's where we really see the 4 and the 971 make moves. We're starting to see some moves, though, out of Kerry Tribune right now as the battle rages on 3 and 4.
Battle for second raging on. Lumpkin gets to the inside of Kyle Hess on the back straightaway, holds it through 3 and 4. They're side by side up for the second position. This is what Steve Barnett wants to see. He should be able to pull away here. Meanwhile, Hess stuck on the outside will lose that second position, maybe even lose the third position to Justin White. So after what seemed to be a dream start for Kyle Hess, is going backwards in a hurry.
Yeah, I talked about how Kyle Hess has to be hungry to start off this race, has to try to fight and move his way to the top of the grid, try to snatch some stage points out of the way. But just like somebody showing up to an all-you-can-eat buffet when all they wanted was a sandwich, he's just not that hungry right now to start off this race as he's feeling the pressure from Justin Lumpkin on the inside into the corner.
Meanwhile, Steve Barnett has opened that lead up to almost a full second. Lumpkin should get clear of Kyle Hess off of 2 this time by. Now it's Hess and White side by side down the back straightaway, close there. No contact made, and that's going to allow Brady LaBeouf to catch up to this group who's opened up a gap on Nathan Maurer.
Oh, man, that was so close between Kyle Hess and the 86 and the 2 of Justin White, but Justin White will take another one from Kyle Hess and the 86, who right now is just trying to hold on to that spot right now. 8 laps in, down to corner number 1.
Yeah, that's the problem with Nashville SuperSpeedways. It's not really a multi-groove racetrack. You really need to get to that yellow line, hold it around the bottom. It's only a mile and a third track. These corners are very, very tight, very, very narrow. It's going to make it really difficult to go around the outside with that angle.
Yeah, just like Eminem said, you just go round the outside, round the outside, round the outside. You just can't get it done here tonight at Nashville, as you're going to see a lot of those passes to the inside here. 10 laps into this race, down to corner number 1.
Playoff drivers now 4th through 8th. That's Hess, LaBeouf, Maurer, Newbert, Tribute. That's 5 of them all in a row currently. But right now, up front, 3 non-playoff drivers. As we look, almost contact between Robbie Richards there, and I want to say, I'm not sure, that's Stephen Thomas in that 23 machine.
Yeah, Stephen Thomas right there in the 23 has played playoff spoiler here the past couple of weeks. 23 machine has been coming on hot here in these playoffs right now. Here tonight, already starting to climb the grid, but we look at some shakers right here on the racetrack. Look at Chris Blanchard in the 9 and Sean Hamilton in that 89. Both need great runs here tonight if they want to move on to that championship 4.
Meanwhile, Robbie Richards going a wrong way right now. He's the bottom of your 8 playoff drivers so far in this race, and he's going to have some pressure behind from Zach Hartwick in that number 6 machine and Brandon Broadfoot in that 24. Meanwhile, back up front, Steve Barnett still about a 2.25 lead over the field. Meanwhile, everyone else single file pretty much throughout the field for the time being.
Yeah, starting to see some battles, though, brewing on the racetrack. Starting to see some windows. Look at that paint scheme for Brandon Broadfoot in that 24 machine. Ditching the old school throwbacks to Jeff Gordon, the 24 machine here tonight. Looks like he might be rocking a little Monster Energy paint scheme as he had to check up there as we threw the spotlight on Brandon Broadfoot in that 24 machine. Keeping it rolling here in that Monster Energy. But you look at, that's Dan Hagen in that NASA machine coming to the inside.
Yeah, Dan Hagen and Brandon Broadfoot side by side. Meanwhile, Kyle has got a big run there. It looks like Justin White may have been in the wall off of 4. Kyle Hess gets by. Brady LaBeouf gets by as they go into 1 and 2.
Yeah, Brady LaBeouf right there to the inside, keeping it clean so far here tonight. This is exactly the pace that I saw coming here tonight, Tyler, as the 2 had to check up to the back bumper here. Now he goes to the inside. Justin White in the 2 is going to try to the inside of the 9. Brady LaBeouf here into 3 and 4. Had to hit the brakes early there on the entry of the corner. That's going to kill the momentum here around 3 and 4.
It's so hard to get runs when you're starting your corner entry on the bottom here at Nashville. You really need to have as big of a arc as you can. Meanwhile, side by side, that's Tribute and Newbert for that 7th position. Tribute looking to get to the inside of Newbert. Newbert looking to hold serve on the outside. It's very, very challenging to hold a spot there on the outside here. Newbert may have enough momentum on corner exit, though, to hold it this time by as we're riding on board with Kerry Tribute in the number 7 machine. So far, only about 14 laps into this run, and we're already seeing almost a full second of fall off from fastest lap of the race. Currently 8/10 fall off for the leader last time by, running a 31.5. His fastest lap of the race is a 30.78. So starting to see tire fall off come into effect early on here. We still have just over 22 laps to go in stage number 1.
Yeah, a long way to go here in stage number 1. Just looking at the results here from the past couple of weeks. Of course, we had Nathan around the 971, went back to victory lane after 10 weeks of not winning. We talked about that there, Tyler, the past couple of weeks about how the 971 just really cooled down when it started to, the playoff races started. Was our regular season champion, of course, from that performance that he put on, winning 3-4 races in a row during that regular season. So, of course, earned it there. But the 971 wants to keep that momentum coming from that win last week at Charlotte. You see if he wants to go back to back here and keep that momentum. We saw what happened when he got that first win last time, won 4 in a row. See if he can get that overall championship here tonight.
Right now, though, he's under pressure from Adam Newbert. Adam Newbert clear right now off of 2. Maurer gives him the position this far early on. Fastest driver in practice was Nate Maurer, but Adam Newbert takes that position, number 6, away from him. Meanwhile, battle up front, a little bit something to keep your eye on. Lumpkin and Barnett have been trading lap times, still about a second lead, but last time by, Lumpkin was almost 0.2 faster. Wait to see what lap times are this time by. Lumpkin about a 10th faster, so he's slowly reeling in our race leader, Steve Barnett, and Kyle Hess is coming with him.
Yeah, and talking about Adam Newbert, the money man, as we monikered him, he won in Indianapolis week 11. Followed that up week 13 with a win. Week 14 with a win at Las Vegas. Follow that up week 16, week 17 with wins at Atlanta and Auto Club. The Ford machine here, the last half of the season has definitely been one of those trucks to shine. But everything will come down here tonight at Nashville. We'll go to that super speedway last week. The high banks of Talladega is going to be very difficult to get your playoff ticket punch there as the battles rage on here early on.
Yep. Meanwhile, that lead's come down to just over 0.8 seconds. Lumpkin still trying to reel in your race leader, Steve Barnett. Your pole sitter, Steve Barnett, led every lap so far tonight. That's been 17 laps. We'll make it 18 laps this time by. Steve Barnett right now in control of this race, and a lot of that was helped by... Oh, wow, Barnett into the wall. As soon as I say something, that's a lot of contact to the outside of that machine. Lumpkin's going to go around his outside. And that's something we heard about a lot, how tight these trucks get, especially on exit of corner and pre-race. And that bit Stephen Barnett there. Meanwhile, Justin Lumpkin, your new race leader, and that's a lot of damage to the outside of that 42 machine.
Wow, Tyler, that's just like getting your direct deposit and then realizing rent is due the next day. You're wondering what just happened. The 42 does not know what just happened to his wallet, his bank account right there, as a 42 makes contact with a topside wall. A lot of heavy damage there. That's going to cost him down the stretch here, folks. If you're unfamiliar with the formats here at Nazareth, no fast repairs for these drivers here, so no ability to fix that damage to the right side of that truck. It's going to be very difficult now for the 42 to stay in contention.
Yeah, if I'm Kyle Hess and Braybuff, I want to get by him quicker than later. Right now, it's got to make the move while you can, because you never know when he's going to miss that next corner and maybe come up into you, especially being on the outside. Bray LaBeouf has to clear him off of 4 at least before we get back around to 1 and 2. Not a good enough exit that time by. That allows Justin White to come into the fold. We may have 3 wide action. Nope, White goes with Bray LaBeouf to the outside.
Yeah, right now I think Barnett is realizing behind the wheel of that 42 that this race is all but disappearing for him early on, 21 laps in. I gotta say, Tyler, from just the one race of experience that I had, sometimes it's tough for a driver to accept that your race might be over. It might be that difficult acceptance that you have to have behind the wheel of your truck, and you see him just losing position after position. It's going to get more and more difficult to keep that truck on the track here tonight.
Yes, it is. We're seeing now a second and a half, almost a fall off here as we're on lap 22 this time by. Battle for the lead. Justin Lumpkin, call it 0.7 seconds over Kyle Hess, who has 0.7 seconds over Brady LaBeouf. Justin White has gotten by Steve Barnett. Adam Newbert has gotten by Steve Barnett. So now playoff drivers are 2, 3, and 5. Barnett separates Maurer from the other playoff drivers, as well as Kerry Tribune. Looking back throughout the rest of the field, other playoff drivers, John Hamilton. Oh, wow, another big moment there. Hamilton in 11th, Robbie Richards in 13th, and Chris Blanchard in 15th.
We'll have to see who that was that just made contact with the outside wall. That was the 42 again there at Barnett. So just keeping it on the track right now. It's just going to get more and more hard to drive that thing around as tire wear then comes into play as we watch a battle between the 89 of Hamilton and the 30 of Ron Hunter right here into 3 and 4. But I'm impressed that what I'm watching here right now, Tyler, with about 13 laps to go here in stage number 1, is Kyle Hess right there in that second position. If he can make some ground up, maybe catch Lumpkin in that 18, he might have a chance to snag stage number 1.
He definitely has the opportunity. Does he have the time or the speed? Yet to be seen. Meanwhile, that battle between Hamilton and Hunter is important because that's the last stage position for points here. Hamilton gets by him. He's in the 10th spot. So right now, only 2 playoff drivers outside of the top 10. That's Robbie Richards and Chris Blanchard.
You see Lumpkin leading the way. Hess right there, Brady LaBeouf in that 9, but things are pretty fanned out between the top 3 right now. Looking at just around 11 laps to go here in stage number 1. This is the ButtKicker 200. This is round number 1 of the Elite 8 playoffs here in the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series here tonight. I am William Tiller, and I am just happy as can be to be joined by my co-host here tonight of Tyler Dittmer. And Tyler, you missed last week's race, which was an elimination race. Gave us a new set of drivers for this race here tonight. Some familiar names. We've talked about some of the heavyweights there, some of the drivers that have to put forth an effort. What's one name that jumps off that playoff bracket that you can in picture being the overall champion?
Overall champion, I mean, you'd be remiss if you didn't say Nathan Maurer or Adam Newbert, 2 of the best drivers in the last several weeks, 2 of the best drivers all season long. And when you look at their track records and the championship race taking place at 1.5 miles in Chicagoland, those have to be the first 2 names that jump out at you. But these trucks race Chicagoland much differently than they race here at Nashville SuperSpeedway or even most intermediates. Chicagoland kind of stays a little bit more packed together, at least in the past here on the iRacing server with the trucks. So I think we may see any driver who makes that championship 4 be competitive there in 2 weeks' time. But they got to get there first. And tonight at Nashville and next week at Talladega are 2 very, very different ways to get into that Final 4.
Yeah, it's a lot to be done here tonight. Early on, we're going to ride on board with the money man himself, Adam Newbert, in that Ford machine, just keeping it cool here early on, Tyler. And that's exactly what we've seen out of those heavyweights this season, the 4, the 971. You know, those movers and shakers really like to take stage 1 and 2 as just an experimental period. They take a lot of notes. That's when we really see that gas pedal really hit the floor. Those strategies really pay off there at the end of the race. That's what we always see, the same names at the top of the grid at the end of these races.
That is exactly right, Will. They're going to be very patient, especially from these championship drivers here in the first and second stage, most likely. But it's that third stage going to lap 150 where I think you're going to see these drivers make big moves, big challenges. Problem is, they only have 3 sets of tires to work with tonight. Some of these drivers may be taking tires here at the end of stage 1. If they take tires at the end of stage 2, they just have 1 more set to use the rest of the night. Now, I'm assuming they would just split stage 3 in half, so it may take some strategy out of hand unless we see maybe some alternative plays here, Will, at the end of stage 1.
Yeah, right now here 29 laps in, you're already starting to see some drivers struggle with the exit off of 4. That's one corner that's given some of these drivers fits here already tonight. As you see the 4 going to ride on board here, the money man keeping it cool in that third position as we're getting a good shot of Brady LaBeouf in that 9 right there as we just have a few laps to go here in stage number 1.
Yep, call it 6 laps coming to 5 laps to go when we hit the stripe in stage number 1, ending at the end of lap 35. Then we're going to go all the way to lap 75 to call it for stage number 2, splitting this race in half between stages 1 and 2 and then stage 3. So let's just see how these drivers play that strategy again. Will, if I'm one of these Champ 4 drivers that's not in the top 4, like Chris Blanchard, like Robbie Richards, who's struggling, maybe I don't take the tires here at the end of this first stage and, you know, have an extra set to play with in that final stage in case we get a late caution.
Yeah, I think that's the exact move that some of these drivers will play here tonight. They'll keep that in their back pocket just when you give some of these drivers that opportunity to have a fast repair. Some of these drivers wait to that last moment to pull that out. I think here tonight, Tyler, you're going to see exactly that. These drivers are going to wait to that last minute to jump on that set of freshies here, as they like to say here at the racetrack. We're looking at with just about 4 laps to go here in stage number 1. Watching a battle between Stephen Thomas and Dan Hagen right now into the corner.
Yeah, Stephen Thomas plus 11 from his starting position, but not where he wants to be at this point in time, back in 14th position. He wants to be up there in the top 5 after his win at Watkins Glen a few weeks ago. Very competitive run there from that 23 machine, and he's looking to have another win tonight, not playoff driver. He's just here to bring home checks, Will.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that, Tyler. I spoke off air with a fan of this series here, and these drivers have an opportunity not only to make money per race here, but if you're in championship contention, Tyler, you can bank on these races, race per race, but then you can also bank on that overall championship at the end. So for some of these drivers, you have the opportunity to make some serious money when this season's over.
No doubt. At this point in time, it's going to just see how it plays out with the strategy calls, but you also talk about the money involved here. That's going to determine what you're going to do here in trying to gain position, because the payouts do drastically change from the top 4 to the rest of the championship field.
Yeah, they surely do. And you want to make sure you're locked into that championship grid. I would say each driver has the opportunity, if you win a race, to win an average between $40 to $70 per race. That overall championship, though, Tyler, I believe pays out hefty to whoever wins what's going to be in the range of a 23-24 week season. So definitely a marathon season for a lot of these drivers, and it's well worth it here in Nazareth. Bray LaBeouf is the boss man here, puts the formats forward, puts the payouts forward, and I think every race here, Tyler, we average in the range of 25 to 30 drivers. So quite the turnout week in and week out.
Yeah, Kyle has had an issue there as we come to the end of stage number 1. Kyle's going to go from 2nd to 4th. Bray LaBeouf will actually hold 3rd position. Adam Newbert, though, steals 2nd here in the closing laps of stage number 1. Caution flag flies. Justin Lumpkin, your stage 1 winner.
And Justin Lumpkin there, we saw what happened to Barnett in the 42 machine. Occurred heavy damage, basically just self-inflicted damage there. Came off the corner a little bit too hot, made contact there. But Justin Lumpkin at 18, one of those drivers I'd have to say sneakily good here the past couple weeks. It's really turning it up. The 18 not in playoff contention, but a great stage victory here at Nashville.
Yeah, these drivers going to get their pit calls. Meanwhile, Kyle Hess not happy about how the end of that stage occurred. So we'll have to see exactly what happened with Kyle Hess here in this closing laps of the stage. See exactly why he is upset over the radio. But we should see here. Ooh, something happened here. Trying to get an exact picture of it. He had a pretty comfortable lead. I'm not quite sure. He just slowed down drastically on the front straightaway. Not sure what the issue is.
Looks like he's got problems with the equipment there here tonight, Tyler, but we'll quickly run through that. Top 10 here in stage number 1. Justin Lumpkin, of course, gets that stage victory. The money man himself finishes 2nd. Bray LaBeouf, the boss man himself, finishes 3rd. Nathan Maurer, 4th. Justin White, 5th. Kerry Tribute, 6th. Sean Hamilton, that 89 machine, finishes 7th. Jason Morales in that 5 finishes 8th. Tyler Daniels in that 95, moving on up that grid right now. And we looks like Ron Hunter is going to finish 10th there on the grid here in stage number 1. Tyler, as you already start to see some drivers head down pit road.
Yeah, the field coming down pit road. We'll wait to see exactly how they come off pit road. Meanwhile, Kyle Hess. Oh, contact maybe on pit road. Nope. Looks like the iRacing gods looked favorably upon Hess and Hamilton there, not bringing damage to either truck. It looks like Justin Lumpkin will win the battle off pit road. Adam Newbert 2nd, Bray LaBeouf 3rd, Nate Maurer 4th, and Sean Hamilton's going to go from 11th to 5th there on pit road.
Yes, right now as we wait everybody to get re-gridded on the racetrack, we're going to step aside, but we'll stay live here at the City of Rock and Roll at Nashville here in the Nazareth 360 Racing Network. We'll be right back with an interview with the stage number 1 winner.
4. And we're back live here to conclude stage 1. Get ready for stage 2. And Will Tiller, you're standing by with our stage 1 winner, Justin Lumpkin.
Yeah, Justin Lumpkin in the 18 machine. You snagged stage number 1 there. How'd you get it done?
Man, I think Barnett helped me out a little bit by getting in the wall, but I like Nashville. We got some pretty good speed. We just got to keep it out of the wall ourselves. We brushed it a little bit, but we just keep our tires under us and keep a good pace and take care of the truck. We'll be all right.
Yeah, I want to ask you here before we go green flag racing, once again, being a non-playoff driver here, is there a little weight off your shoulders that just turns these races into money races?
It does. It's a lot of pressure off to really just try to get points. You know, you don't have to worry about it. You just come out here, run your race, and take care of business.
Right on, my man. And before we let you go, we got to explain that crispy looking paint scheme here tonight. Anybody you want to shout out that's on that bright pink looking truck here tonight?
Yeah, I got to thank my girlfriend Kara for this one. She wanted me to run a hot pink truck, so I ran it. And but yeah, I want to thank A's Lawn and Landscaping and Darren's Nail Gun Repair for sponsoring us, and then Swim, my boys here at Swim, man, we got to thank them all the time.
Well, Justin Lumpkin, our stage number 1 winner. Looks like that paint scheme might be a good choice there by the girlfriend right now. 1 stage in. Justin, you are the top truck so far. Good luck the rest of the way.
Appreciate it, guys.
Yes, sir. That's Justin Lumpkin in that 18 truck. Tyler rocking a different paint scheme here tonight. Maybe that new good luck charm looking all fresh and so clean with those white rims.
Oh, for sure. I'm always a fan of changing up the paint schemes whenever possible and doing something different. I'm known for having the hot pink or the teal or the aqua color paint schemes all the time in the Triple M Point Truck Series. So I always enjoy seeing a different color scheme out here tonight, and Lumpkin has that going. But excited to see how stage number 2 kicks off. Swim Motorsport teammates on the front row. Meanwhile, Bray LaBeouf, the boss man, and the regular season champ Nate Maurer make up row number 2. Row number 3, Sean Hamilton and Jason Morales, as we get ready to go green flag racing to lap 75 here in stage number 2. As they get off the line here, Justin Lumpkin gets it going. Pretty close jump between Lumpkin and Newbert. You know, Lumpkin should lead him into turn number 1.
Things pretty clean so far here down the backstretch. Battle rages on for a second, though, between Bray LaBeouf and Adam Newbert. That is a heavyweight battle. 971, though, putting some pressure on the 4, Adam Newbert, as we come off of corner number 4 now. Single file line here at the start-finish line.
Bray LaBeouf, a very, very aggressive entry into 3 and 4. That time, that gives him the 2nd position. Adam Newbert slides back to 3rd. Meanwhile, Nate Maurer 4th, Sean Hamilton 5th. A new set of playoff drivers is Hamilton inside the top 5.
Yeah, we're going to run it down to lap 75 here in stage number 2. We'll throw that caution flag here. It's the 95. Tyler Daniels battling on with Ron Hunter here. This is a battle that we didn't think we would see here early on this season, but this is a battle raging on for a top 5 position, I do believe. A little further down the racetrack right there. This top 10, though, right here for these drivers. See if they can keep this pace, keep the run they got going on so far here tonight, Tyler. Might be the best finish all season for some of these drivers.
Yeah, these drivers rely on battling inside the top 10. Meanwhile, playoff drivers struggling outside the top 10. That's Kerry Tribute back in 13th. Looking throughout the rest of the field, Kyle Hess all the way back in 18th after maybe some technical difficulties involving potentially a cat affecting his ability to drive the truck he wanted to. Meanwhile, up front, the front 2 drivers have pulled away from the field. Bray LaBeouf and Justin Lumpkin have checked out from Adam Newbert, Nate Maurer, and the rest of the pack. A caution flag is out.
Yeah, first caution of the night just waves. I was going to mention there, Justin Lumpkin, not but 1 lap ago, ran his fastest lap of the entire race. Bray LaBeouf, though, fastest lap of the entire race of any driver with a 30.6. But let's check out this caution flag.
I think it was further back. Dan Hagen, I think, went around. Steve Barnett may have been involved. We'll have to see if there's Dan Hagen to the inside fence or see the aftermath. Here will give us a better view. Yep. Oh, wow. Not 100% certain what happened there, but can't tell who came down to who or not. I'm going to get maybe a head-on view, but it may look like Steve Burnett came down and just kind of right reared him.
Yeah, we'll check it out once again here in the Nazareth 360 Racing Network. There's Dan Hagen.
Coming up a little bit on that one.
Yeah, Dan Hagen looks as though he comes up the racetrack just as no line the 42 is running there. This is going to happen right in front of those straightaway grandstands here, so the fans, of course, going to love this action. right there. You see, it just looks like Dan Hagen's just going to slowly drift up the racetrack there, and there's nothing the 42 can really do right there, Tyler, but hold his line, and you just go with the flow there. Unfortunate for Dan Hagen.
Yeah, I'm not sure about this one. It's a tight deal. I don't know if that's on. It's hard to tell here. It looked like maybe a little bit of neck could started the contact, but Hagen was probably coming up no matter what. Just don't know if that was going to be the end of the contact there. So rough deal for Dan Hagen into the fence, and Steve Barnett involved in another incident after his great start to the race.
And that's not good there for the 42. We saw what happened there. Made contact with the top side wall. Heavy damage. Now stuck in the, let's call it the land of misfit toys there at the tail end of this pack here. No offense to those drivers at the tail end, just drivers that may just having a difficult time here at this Super Speedway. You see right there more heavy damage. Trying to see who that is rocking that good wrench throw back there on our screen. That is, I believe, trying to see who that is. That's Charles Keller Jr. there. It's going to have some damage in the 99.
Yeah, some damage to the right side of that machine. Probably got in the wall off of 4 earlier on, so we'll have to see how everyone else was affected throughout the race. But eventually see how this field gets reset here. Stage number 2, that's our first natural caution of the night so far.
Yeah, first caution of the night on the racetrack, and I think that just goes to show here the drivers were ready. A lot of practice was put forth, a lot of time spent on this racetrack, and I think that's just the case here in this season. You know, in the Elite Eight, these drivers have put everything, put all their effort into this season. Why stop now? Why stop practicing? Why stop preparing for these races? As Justin Lumpkin said, you know, for some of these drivers, the stress of having to worry about playoff points, playoff races, that's all off these drivers. These drivers just out here racing for that bag, Teller, and I think that just makes it for more exciting, more clean racing throughout.
No doubt, but these drivers are gonna have their hands full. We've seen the tight condition already get a few drivers tonight, so I'm expecting maybe that to continue, especially in that stage 3 70-lap run to the end after caution laps are considered.
Yeah, definitely. That's the money move time, as we like to say here, as we're checking out some drivers in-car cameras here. There's Tyler Daniels in that 95. Chris Blanchard in that 14 machine. He's going to be 9 on the track, though. 14 in your programs, 9 on the racetrack. Brandon Bullock in that 17 machine as well. Racing out of Macon, Missouri, right there. Checking out Justin White as well. A little Rocky Top action there. Kerry Tribute racing out of Huntington Beach there in that 7 machine. Cody Knott in the 26 here, one of those awesome contributors here at Nazareth. Also, Don Lyons and that 79 machine. Cool paint scheme there for the 79. Look at that paint scheme, Tyler. I like those colors on there.
Yeah, that 79 machine is looking very sharp. So hopefully he keeps it out of the wall all night long, and that truck can come home nice and clean, because it should be an absolutely competitive truck. Hopefully later on this race, Brandon, he's got some ground to make up. Oh, it looks like, fortunately, I've already jinxed him. He's already been in the wall tonight, so that's unfortunate. Starts with that beautiful-looking 79 machine there, Will.
Yeah, unfortunate there for the 79, but a few different names here now shaking up the grid. You know, Sean Hamilton, you spoke about that 89 here during this broadcast. Now up to 5th, up 6 spots from the drop of the green flag. Also, another name you mentioned was Robbie Richards in that 48, up 7 spots, up to 7th. Lucky number 7 there for the 48. Let's see how this works out here as we count on the laps here in stage number 2.
Yeah, we are restacked here. Row number 1, Justin Lumpkin, Brady LaBeouf. Row number 2, Adam Newbert, Nathan Maurer. Row number 3, Sean Hamilton, Jason Morales. Row number 4, that's Robbie Richards and Ron Hunter. And rounding out your top 10 right now, that's Tyler Daniels and Chris Blanchard. First time inside the top 10 tonight for that 14 machine.
And you see Chris Blanchard right there, Tyler Daniels. Brandon Bullock, though, just outside of the top 10. Kerry to be with him right there in about the 13th position. Cody Knott right there as well. Kyle Hess still in the mix, though, down a bunch of spots on the grid. Stephen Thomas right there. James Moore, Zach Hartwick, Brandon Bradfoot, Dan Hagen. We just saw him. Charles Keller Jr. with some damage as well. This green flag is waving, though, here in the city of rock and roll. And things are rocking and rolling down in the corner number 1 as the 18 machine. Justin Lumpkin leads the way.
Meanwhile, Bray LaBeouf doesn't get a great jump on that initial restart here. Adam Newbert going to dive to the bottom here through 1 and 2. Can Newbert hold him off the corner? Bray LaBeouf should get a decent exit. Newbert does not clear. LaBeouf almost into the wall up 2.
Ooh, that was mission impossible close right there. Tom Cruise hanging off a wire. Watch out for the lasers right there as the 9 machine of Brady LaBeouf almost made contact with Adam Newbert in the 4. But right now, 1 lap under green. Justin Lumpkin still leads the way.
These drivers kind of have their hands full so far here in stage number 2. Trucks look very unsettled. Robbie Richards now inside the top 10. He's in that 6th position. So call it playoff drivers 2nd through 6th right now, battling for position here as they're trying to make points up on their competitors here and try and get themselves into the championship 4.
Yeah, things getting very dicey right now, down to 3 and 4 here as we're looking at the lap count here in stage number 2. We're looking at around 26 laps to go. So these drivers are starting to feel the pressure here in stage number 2. They know they want to snag some stage points right now as we're watching the battle between the 48 Robbie Richards, Sean Hamilton right there. Now we see the 971 Nathan Maurer thought about going to the inside. Adam Newbert there wisely follows right back behind him here down the backstretch down to corner number 3.
Brady LaBeouf and Justin Lumpkin separating themselves from the field like they did last time on the restart. Hopefully they can run green here for both of those drivers and see what they have for one another. Meanwhile, back throughout the field, single file currently very much in a row, very neat right now in the field. Carriage View on the outside of the top 10, trying to get back inside the top 10. He's got to get his way around Justin White in that 2 machine.
Yeah, as we're starting to see the pace sort of simmer down just a little bit now. The race is at that slow burn pace right now. You know, you have the stakes on the grill, starting to hear them simmer just a little bit. This is just about the time before we flip the stakes on the grill. You start to get that nice grill marks on the stake here as we see a battle between Justin White. Looks like the heavy damage truck carried Tribute to the inside. It's that slow burn time here in stage 2. Start to see those stakes really fire up here at the end of this stage. With about 10 laps to go, here's Carriage Tribute thanks to the inside of the 2 with Justin White here. This is going to be a very tight battle off the corner here, Tyler. We've seen this over and over again. Is see which drivers race to the top here at the end of stage 2.
Yeah, Justin White, the Tennessee native, trying to race Carriage Tribute in that 7 machine. Tribute gets the position, but does have that right side damage that we saw. I think it's going to be a common trend you see tonight. A lot of right side damage in some of these trucks throughout this race. And back up front, Bray LaBeouf again closing in on Justin Lumpkin. Meanwhile, Nate Mauer's all over the back end of that Adam Newbert number 4 machine.
Yeah, and I love to see this battle right now. And I have to say, this is a battle between, I'm trying to think of a real life battle right now, maybe a LeBron versus let's say Jason Tatum, or LeBron versus Kevin Durant battle right now. This is a battle between the top 2 drivers. I would have to say, in my opinion, Tyler, in this series here in the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series, just based on those stats alone, Nathan Maurer with a bunch of wins, Adam Newbert with a bunch of wins. Been watching this battle between these 2 heavyweights virtually all night long, and it's not even for the race lead. This is just for a position on the racetrack.
Meanwhile, Sean Hamilton, Robbie Richards trading blows back and forth they go. They're trying to make up positions on the rest of the field, trying to get by. Meanwhile, Kyle Hess trying to get his way back towards the front after having to start at the back of the last restart because of those technical difficulties he was having. Meanwhile, Justin Lumpkin is starting to pull away from Bray LaBeouf a little bit out front. Those 2 drivers, though, well clear ahead of Adam Newbert in 3rd.
Yeah, Justin Lumpkin seems as though he has found something here in Nashville. Just has that thing humming at the top of the grid right now. As we jump back to this battle between Adam Newbert and the 971, here comes Robbie Richards back into the picture, though. Chris Blanchard has a battle between him right now as he gets a little loose there on the exit of the corner. Ron Hunter, though, is right on his back bumper waiting for that window of opportunity. He's going to think to the inside here. No, we jump back behind them, though, between the battle of the 95 Tyler Daniels and the 17 of Brandon Bullock. Boy, things are getting spicy down the grid here, Tyler, as we come off of 2.
Yeah, great racing from about 3rd on back throughout the rest of the field. Very competitive racing. Chris Blanchard trying to gain a position on Jason Morales still. Meanwhile, they're side by side in the corner. Ron Hunter maybe looking to the inside. Chris Blanchard didn't have a great start to this race, but he's looking to gain some stage points here in stage number 2. As we have just 18 laps remaining here in stage number 2.
What a crazy move right there from the 17 of Brandon Bullock. Rode that back bumper as long as he could from Tyler Daniels in the 95. Trying to ride that momentum now to the inside. Not going to be enough, though, as they come off 2 in the 95. Will get that run off the top side. They're going to go door to door right now. Justin White's going to look to the back of the bumper right there. Just going to watch these. Battle has courtside seats to this battle here as the 17 had to check up on the corner. Man, this is a testy battle right now just inside the top 10.
Yeah, they're stuck behind Brandon Bullock right there. That's Justin White looking for a move here. He's going to try and push Brandon Bullock here into 1 and 2. Stephen Thomas, meanwhile, on the outside, from a different perspective, Brandon Bullock has to dive in aggressively on entry. He'll get the position over Daniels for the time being. Justin White, the Tennessee native, trying to have a good performance here in his home state, virtually this time. He's going to the inside of Brandon Bullock here as we enter 3 and 4.
Yeah, trying to use some of that Rocky top energy here tonight, trying to rock and roll his way up to the top of the grid. The 2 machine, though, has to put in the work right now. Doesn't seem as though he has the speed. Might have the strategy, though, at the end. We've seen that this season, Tyler. Some of these drivers might not have the speed throughout. They just play those strategies just perfectly. They're the top truck at the end. Let's see if the 2 can do it here tonight.
Meanwhile, Kyle Hess has caught this competitive battle just outside the top 10. He looks to the inside of, I believe, who is that? Tyler Daniels there as we enter 3 and 4. And right in front of Kerry Tribune.
Ooh, man, that was a tight squeeze, just like those overstuffed Oreos right there. Man, it got tight once again right there down into the corner. The 17 truck just can't find any spot right there, just like Forrest Gump getting on the school bus. Everybody's saying this seat is taken. The 17 can't find a spot there on the inside.
Hess looking to the inside of Daniels. Daniels throwing a bit of a block there. Hess is going to get frustrated very quickly here with the non-playoff driver impeding his progress. I don't think Hess will take that for much longer. Meanwhile, this battle is still heating up. Meanwhile, the battle for the lead heating up. Ray LaBeouf has caught Lumpkin. Lumpkin, oh, that's very tight here through 1 and 2.
Oh my goodness, just like the wise words of Conor McGregor, just like he said, who is that guy? All of a sudden, the 18 of Justin Lumpkin turned around and looked, the 9 machine was right there. As right now, we have a battle raging on here at the end of stage number 2. Just about 14 laps to go here. Make it 13 as we cross the start-finish line down to corner number 1.
Ray LaBeouf has closed that gap significantly. Meanwhile, Kyle Hess to the inside of Tyler Daniels has got that position over Daniels. So move Kyle Hess up into the 13th position. Kerry Tribune gets by Daniels as well. Move him into the 14th position. Still outside the top 10 here, but they have just about 13 laps to get the job done, get inside that top 10 and collect some stage points.
Yeah, and you watch that battle between the top 2 trucks, you almost forget about all the other battles that have been raging on all night long, whether it's inside the top 10, outside the top 10. All these drivers are just beating and banging, putting in work here tonight in the ButtKicker 200 here in the Nazareth 360 Racing Network. This is race number 1 of the Elite 8. Here we go to the SuperSpeedway High Banks of Sweet Home, Alabama, Talladega next week. But here tonight, Tyler, I know one driver wants to punch their ticket so that way they don't have to worry about surviving the big one next week.
No, they don't want to go into Talladega on the outside looking, and Bray LaBeouf looking to punch his ticket tonight with a win at Nashville SuperSpeedway. So he can essentially just go out and race for fun next week at Talladega. All these other drivers, though, whoever doesn't lock themselves in tonight, they have to be very, very concerned going to Talladega next week. You can't get yourself taken out in the big one early on. I think you may see those drivers hang out in the back all race long and try and steal the win at the end if that's what happens tonight.
And folks, we're not trying to look past Nashville right now as we have a battle for the lead raging on as we count down the laps here in stage number 2. We're just trying to emphasize the importance of tonight's race. These drivers want to make sure they get the performance out at a track like this here at Nashville. Not saying this is an easy track. Let's say, Tyler, as you see, some drivers are struggling with the exit of 4, exit with 2 here. Tough to pass. Can't really pass on the top side, have to pass on the inside. But boy, this is a bunny hill slope compared to the rocky mountain ridges that we're going to face next week at Talladega. Really want to get it done here tonight.
Yeah, you never really want to go into a wild card race on the bubbles. You see Kyle has moved up another position. That's the 11th position. Just got to get by a fellow playoff driver, Chris Blanchard, and that'll be a stage point for that 86 machine. And he'll gain positions on Kerry Tribune, who is in the top 4 coming in, Hess on the bottom 4. So Kyle Hess right now being ahead of Carey True is a good thing. The problem is Sean Hamilton's ahead of him up in that 5th position.
Yeah, Hess started out really good. You talked about it. Tyler had a little real life malfunction. That's what some of these drivers have to put up with here on the iRacing simulator. Some real life factors come into play right now. As Hamilton, though, you touched on it, Tyler, has just been sneaky good this season. One of those drivers that just getting the job done round after round. Everything that the 89 had to do, all those checklists, let's say, checked all those boxes. Just slowly being that dark horse, that Cinderella, if you will, here to stay with that March Madness theme. The 89 could be that dark horse into that championship 4.
Hess gets around Blanchard, put him in the stage points. He's going to try and chase down Stephen Thomas, one of the fastest trucks all day before that issue early on or late at the end of stage number 1. Still finished 4th in stage 1. He's going to try to get a few more stage points tonight here in stage number 2. Meanwhile, battle for the lead. Adam Newbert closing in on those front 2. Call it just 3/4 of a second back from the leader.
That thing's pretty fanned out right now. We're looking at around 6 laps to go here off of 4. Going to make it 5 in just a second. We look at that ticker on the top of your screen here. The drivers that are indicated in that gold yellow backing, those are drivers that are currently locked into the next round. Championship drivers. So like right now on the top of your screen, look at the likes of Brady LaBeouf, Adam Newbert, Nathan Maurer, all championship drivers, all locked in. Right behind them, though, we have the 89, Hamilton, Sean Hamilton, Robbie Richards indicated in that red. Those are drivers currently on the outside looking in. So quite the mix of playoff championship drivers and drivers on the outside looking in.
Yeah, and I'd like to take a moment to give credit to Ron Hunter tonight. Running inside the top 10 right now in that 8th position, running really, really well. Brady LaBeouf disappeared off screen, so a little bit of a technical difficulty for Brady LaBeouf right there. That was concerning for a second. Adam Newbert into the back of Brady LaBeouf here. And it looks like he may take the 2nd position here at the end of stage number 2. Brady LaBeouf had to back way off of Justin Lumpkin due to some issues here with his internet. Adam Newbert gets really close there. Meanwhile, looking throughout the field, Kyle Hess trying to chase down Stephen Thomas, get another point here before the end of the stage. He's to the inside. He's also trying to get by Ron Hunter, maybe collect another point on top of that.
Yeah, this battle rages on here. Top 10 pays out in those stage points. Kyle Hess doing a great job making up those positions of loss from that technical difficulties he faced. Right now, behind the biggest mover of the race, the 23 is Stephen Thomas, up 16 spots from the drop of the green flag. I've seen this 23 the last couple of weeks. Tyler, I think we should just tell the 23 to stop qualifying. I think that's the ticket every race. It seems as though the 23 starts out pretty bad, just rages up the grid every single race. Right now, the 23 just inside the top 10 here with 3 laps to go in stage number 2.
Meanwhile, battle for second, heating up. Newbert got to the outside of Brady that time by. Couldn't make the pass, but he's going to try to do a crossover move here down the back straightaway. Can he get to the inside? Almost contact. Brady LaBeouf blocks him there down the back straightaway. They're competing for every point here in the playoffs. Every point matters, especially for these two drivers. Brady LaBeouf holds the inside here. They're going to have 2 to go in stage number 2 this time. Adam Newbert should get a big run down the front straightaway, though.
Oh, man. Adam Newbert's got that nose right to the inside of the 9 right here across the start-finish line. We have 2 laps to go in stage number 2. These drivers have no idea. This is only lap 74 of stage 2. This is not the last lap, folks. This is 2 to go in stage 2. These drivers are door-to-door right now down the backstretch.
Brady LaBeouf going to try and do it around the outside. I think he's burnt up his tires, though. Adam Newbert has been the strongest truck late in these runs. And Nathan Mauer's coming fast. If these two drivers don't get it settled out soon, they both may lose that 2nd position in stage number 2. Newbert clears him off of 4. They're going to get the 1 to go here in stage 2.
1 to go in stage number 2. Justin Lumpkin in the 18 is going to check his rear view momentarily as he heads into 1. He sees these guys battling out for a second. He knows if he can keep that 18 here clean down the backstretch, he can get that stage 2 victory. As right now, Adam Newbert looks as though he's locked up. 2nd, Brady LaBeouf. 3rd, Nathan Maurer. 4th, right now down to 384. Brady LaBeouf thinks about a move late here. No, follows right back behind the 4. As Justin Lumpkin takes us off. 4 are clear. Stage number 2 winner here in the ButtKicker 200.
Yeah, Swim Motorsports goes 1-2 here in stage number 2. Brady LaBeouf finished 3rd, Nate Maurer 4th, Robbie Richards 5th, Sean Hamilton 6th, Justin White 7th, Stephen Thomas 8th, Kyle Hess 9th, Ron Hunter falls back to 10th at the end of the stage there, so another point there for Kyle Hess. That's huge in the grand scheme of things. And outside of the top 10, Chris Blanchard and Carey Tribune, playoff drivers outside the top 10 here in stage 2.
And that'll bring an end to stage number 2 here on the Nazareth 360 Racing Network. The ButtKicker 200 here at Nashville SuperSpeedway. We'll step aside for a short break, but we'll stay live here, give you live shots at Nashville SuperSpeedway. Welcome back, race fans, to the Nazareth 360 Racing Network here at Nashville SuperSpeedway. I am William Tiller, my co-host of the evening. Tyler Dittmer is catching up with a driver who's out raging back up the field after an early technical difficulty.
Yeah, Kyle Hess here, Tyler Dittmer in the Nazareth 360 Racing Network booth. Saw a little bit of an issue there at the end of stage 1 with you. What happened with the truck?
There was a cat that came and got in my lap, and as it was getting across my lap, it got hung up in my steering wheel, and it got caught up in it. So every time I turned, his leg was caught up in it. So I'm holding the cat by one arm, trying to drive with the other. So imagine how hard that is.
Yeah, it definitely was a challenge. You still finished 4th in stage number 1, and you still finished 9th there in stage number 2. Kyle, you made a great run through the field there in stage number 2. I think you have enough to get back inside that top 3.
I'm gonna try. We're gonna see what happens, and that's about what I got to say about that right now, boss.
Appreciate your honesty. Being a Tennessee man, see you from Memphis, Kyle. What would it mean to have a strong, solid run here at Nashville?
I want to win, so I don't have to worry about Talladega. I'm 9 points under the cutoff, and I was going to finish second in that first stage, and I would have had my 9 points, and I would have been happy. But things are. I guess things sometimes aren't just meant to be.
Well, you have 70 laps to get it done. Rest of the way, Kyle. Wishing you the best of luck.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Y'all. I hope y'all enjoy the race.
We've enjoyed it so far. That was currently sitting in the 8th position. That was Kyle Hess, Will. Yeah, definitely frustrated with the cat, it seems, Will, but definitely a lot of time to still make it up here as we enter stage number 3. We should have about 70 laps left in the race when we go green.
Yeah, and I think for Kyle there, of course, it's going to be a little frustrating, a little disappointing there to have a pretty good run ended by a little technical difficulty there. But I think as you touched on it there before that interview, Kyle was making moves up through the grid, now cracked inside the top 10. So I think he has plenty of laps to get back off where he left off here as the caution lights are off of the pace truck here. As we're going to have just around 70 laps to go here in what could be, Tyler, an elimination race for some of these drivers.
It could be, but I believe since everyone started tonight, as long as they race next week, if they win next week, they're locked into the next round. So no one will be knocked out tonight, but someone could lock themselves in tonight. And that would be the big deal because then you're only racing for 3 spots next week.
Oh, yeah.
Versus 4, Will. So a lot of things could change here in the next 70 laps, but Another thing that could change, we may have some green flag pit stops some point in stage number 3 if we go green throughout. So something to keep your eye on as the Swim Motorsport teammates of Lumpkin. Newbert will lead us to the green flag. You got LaBeouf and Maurer in row number 2. Row number 3, Robbie Richards, Sean Hamilton. Row number 4, Stephen Thomas and Kyle Hess. Justin Lumpkin ready to hit that Geico restart zone and get started here in stage number 3. He hits the gas. He's off to a great restart. We got 70 to go here in the ButtKicker 200 at Nashville.
As you come off of 2 right now, Justin Lumpkin already starting to feel the pressure from Adam Uber in the 4. Adam Uber did a great job of getting around Brady LaBeouf there in that 9. Now already putting the pressure on the 18. Had to check up big time there. Oh my goodness. Almost disastrous on the apex of 3 and 4 as the 9. Had to check up for the 4 as we're 1 lap under green here. The 18 takes us across the start finish line down to 1.
Yeah, as we head towards 1, race leader Justin Lumpkin, who's controlled it ever since Steve Barnett got into the wall off of 4 early on in stage number 1. So ever since then, it's kind of been the Justin Lumpkin show up front. Adam Newbert, though, sitting second this time, showed to have some long run speed at the end of stage number 2. Will, maybe he has what it takes to get it done here over the final 70 laps.
Yeah, these drivers are already coming on hungry here in the late stages of this race. A lot of these drivers know what's at stake right now. You see Sean Hamilton in 89, you see Kyle Hess in the 86 right there. Both drivers know with a win here tonight, they don't have to worry about their seasons hinging on the high banks of Talladega next week. But right now, the 86, though, is trying to hold on to spots. As Charles Keller Jr. in the 99s right there in the mix as well. Brady LaBeouf's right there. And you see right now, Cody Knott's up there as well.
Cody Knott very angry over something that happened off on track. Maybe got shoved into the wall. Not sure there. He had to lift big, and now he's fallen back in a hurry. So unsure what happened there with Cody Knott machine, but he was not happy over the radio.
Not happy over the radio indeed right now. 84 laps in the 26 machine. Got eliminated early from these playoff races here. Now just racing for that money here. I'm sure on top of it being a disappointing run here in these playoff races, the 26 machine's just not having it here. Only 3 races to go in the entire season.
Yeah, he made it to the round of 12, but that's where his season ended. Meanwhile, Brady LaBeouf got all the way back up to the 2nd position. Adam Newbert falls to 3rd, making Nate Maurer 4th. And in 5th, Robbie Richards ahead of Sean Hamilton, Stephen Thomas, Kyle Hess, Kerry Trevue, Justin White rounding out your top 10. Only playoff driver currently outside top 10, that's Chris Blanchard. He is all the way back in the 22nd position.
Yes, things are heating up right now. Charles Keller Jr. in the 99. Chris Blanchard right there needed a big performance here tonight. Not looking to be his night here at Nashville. But as we're in the city of rock and roll, a place where the music is loud, the parties are even louder, we're going to turn it up here at the Nazareth 360 Racing Network and give you the sights and sounds of Nashville SuperSpeedway. As we're now 90 laps into the ButtKicker 200, the leaders still no change up there. Still Justin Lumpkin in that 18 machine. My name is William Tiller here tonight, joined by Tyler Dittmer here, and Adam Flieger is the one providing all of those excellent shots here tonight. We've seen stage 1 and 2 won by Justin Lumpkin in the 18 after early damage to the 42 truck of Barnett there at the top of the grid. The 42 truck now has slid and checked out of tonight's race here after early problems. But Tyler, we watched battles rage on inside the top 5 between the movers and shakers here tonight, as there was almost contact between the 48 Robbie Richards and the 971 Nathan Maurer.
Yeah, almost disastrous contact. That allowed 23 Stephen Thomas to get to the inside of Sean Hamilton in the 89s. He checked up in 1 and 2. Meanwhile, your front two have checked out to almost a 2.5-second lead over third place Adam Newbert. But like we saw in stage number 2, Adam Newbert was able to close that gap late. So interesting to see how this all shakes out. Meanwhile, that is a large pack of trucks within about 2 seconds of each other from 4th all the way back to about 11th. They're all right under a blanket right now. See Stephen Thomas to the inside of Sean Hamilton. Can't get the move done. Hamilton will clear him off too.
And I think the thing that makes me nervous right here down the stretch, Tyler, is that we've only had one on-track caution so far here tonight. These drivers have to make that green flag pit stop, but just imagine if some of these drivers push that envelope just a little bit too much, these tires start to get away from these drivers. Could be disastrous. Some of these guys trying to sneak into that championship 4.
It is. I think you'll see some drivers split this stage in half, so they'll see drivers coming in, I would say about lap 115. We'll give them about 35 to go by the time they finish their out lap around 116. So I think that's what you'll most likely see is drivers coming in around that 115, 116 lap mark.
As right now, Kyle Hess in that 86 keeps thinking about to the inside of the 23 machine here down the front stretch here at Nashville. The 86 here, as we spoke about, good early on run here tonight. Ran into technical problems. The 86, though, trying to work his way back up the grid. Has a playoff crasher, if you will, and Owen Wilson or Vince Vaughn trying to be like the wedding crashers out here. The 23 machine, the 2 of Justin White has done it, and now the 18 of Justin Lumpkin trying to do it again here tonight, trying to make sure nobody gets that golden ticket to Willy Wonka's Chocolate Factory there in the Championship 4.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how all this plays out here. Lays, we see Charles Keller Jr. is on pit road. I believe something has happened to that 99 machine. I'll have to get the on the pole instant replay to see exactly what happened with that 99 machine. And it looks like he just kind of lost the truck, hits the inside wall. No caution, thankfully, off the racing surface. So does not affect how the rest of this race plays out. But he is now, I believe, on pit road, and he is looking to be done for the day. Yeah, so unfortunately, Charles Keller Jr. out of this race right now. He's just see if he gets back on track. Nope, he has left the server. So he has parked his car in the garage on that 99 machine.
Yeah, Charles Keller Jr. in that 99, always bringing out the most craziest paint schemes. Just bad luck this season. Tyler, hope to see the 99 in the field next season here as Season 2 is already ramping up here in the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series. Of course, there'll be an off season that will kick things off once again. But we'll crown a champion here this season, though, as things are raging on right now as the 2 machine of Justin White, thanks to the inside of the 86 of Kyle Hess right now. Kyle needs to try to hold this position as long as he can as we're raging down the backstretch.
Yeah, Hess under fire, which is why Christopher Blanchard, first playoff driver, is down on pit road. He's not had a great time. All the way back in the 21st position, he got shuffled back and has been yet to figure it out. Charles Keller Jr. has rejoined, so maybe some technical difficulties for that 99 machine. Send him to the back, so he's going to try and reset and try and continue on tonight. Meanwhile, we have just about 53 laps to go tonight here at Nashville. Drivers trying to make some strategy call. Blanchard's down pit road. First of the drivers to come down pit road. We'll see how long he's in the pits. Yep, that is it. He's going to get 4 tires fuel. He's going to be back out on the racetrack.
And just like they say in football or basketball, the ball doesn't lie. You look at the top 10 of our scoring grid right now, with the exception of Blanchard, who just headed down pit road. The entire top 10 is filled with championship drivers right now, all vying for those 4 spots. You look at the lights of Bray LaBeouf. Adam Newbert's right there inside the top 3. Nathan Maurer 4th. Robbie Richards 5th. Sean Hamilton, the 89, 6th. Steven Thomas, not a playoff driver. That's okay. Justin White is not either. Kyle Hess, though, right there in the mix. Kerry Tribune is right there as well. So a lot of drivers right now exactly where they need to be as we're just about to hit that century mark here at Nashville.
Yep, closing in on finishing lap number 100. Meanwhile, Chris Blanchard has come out and just around the second place driver, Brady LaBeouf. He's on fresh tires, though, trying to get back ahead, trying to make up some ground here. So interesting to see how that'll play out here. Looks like Blanchard may be on a two-stop strategy here in stage number 3.
Yeah, right now as we have 51 laps to go right there. Kerry Tribune thought about going 3 wide with the 2 and the 86 right now. This is a battle for just inside the top 10. Kyle Hess would be that top 10 buck ending right now with the 86. 86 has to hold on, right now. Teller can't afford to start slipping down the racetrack right now to make sure going into Talladega you can race a clean race, get in possibly, but right now the 86 still has work to do.
86 does have work to do, and he's running out of time to do it. He's falling back to 10th now behind Tribune and White. Meanwhile, battle between Hamilton and Richards is raging on. They got Steven Thomas looking in on this battle, so interesting to see how this will play out. Meanwhile, Brady LaBeouf has fallen off the back of Justin Lumpkin. Adam Newbert starting to close in on Brady LaBeouf, but not on Lumpkin. Right now, Justin Lumpkin pacing the field.
And I think the 23 machine, if we could highlight that 23 of Steven Thomas, I think it could be one of those what-if stories here in the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series. A what-if the 23 was in contention for the championship. Tyler, what kind of playoff picture would we be looking at? The 23 as of late, very, very hot. Won last week at Charlotte. Has been inside the top 10 as well. So one of those what-ifs looking down the stretch.
Yeah, a lot of what-ifs still in play tonight, but really, you have to look at it. Brady LaBeouf and Adam Newbert, very, very solid points tonight. And Kyle Hess, if he can get back inside the top 5 here, another very solid points night for him. Really, the only driver who has had a rough night is Chris Blanchard outside the top 10, sitting all the way back in 21st right now. So he's going to have to come into Talladega next week in a must-win to advance mode. Meanwhile, battling side-by-side, that's Robbie Richards and Sean Hamilton. Steven Thomas going to look for maybe a move option through here, but they're going to be side-by-side down the front straightaway. Nowhere for Thomas to go.
Yeah, nowhere for Thomas to go right now. Just going to have a court-side seat to the battle right now as the 23 thought about a 3 wide right there. Going to wisely fall right back behind the bumper of the 48 right now. Down the back stretch of 23, though, is just stuck right there. He's just lock jammed between the 89 and the 48 right now. Down to corner number 3 here as Justin Lumpkin still leads the way.
Fastest lap last time by belonged to Adam Newbert. He ran a 31.9. Meanwhile, Brady LaBeouf ran a 32, and Justin Lumpkin ran a 32.1. This time by, though, Lumpkin 32.2, Brady 32.2, and Adam Newbert sub 32. So Adam Newbert's starting to reel in our race leaders.
Yeah, the money man trying to cash in once again here tonight. Adam Newbert in that Ford machine, one of the co-hosts of the weekly podcast here on the Nazareth 360 Racing Network. Folks, if you haven't listened to that podcast, I invite you to do so. Very insightful. Had some swim team members on there last week. Tyler recaps all the racing action every week. Winners, feedback from the races, what drivers had to go through. Very insightful. We invite you to go tune into that Wednesday. If you can't watch all the broadcasts here tonight, you'll get that recap Wednesday night. Right now here with 106 in the books, Sean Hamilton in the 89 trying to do everything he can to ensure his championship 4 spot.
Yeah, I highly recommend, just like you will, to go check out our recap shows Wednesday night with Thomas and our buddy Adam Newbert here. So 2 guys I've known for a while here in the Nazareth Racing family, and 2 guys who are very insightful in all things Nazareth. All the behind-the-scenes action, drama, fights, and more. Check out that weekly podcast on Wednesdays with video podcasts. Sometimes get some highlights on there as well. So a lot of great stuff here. Really close there, though, off of 2. These trucks are really starting to lose their handling, Will.
Starting to lose their handling here. Lap 107. These drivers are starting to count down the lap. So are we up here in the booth. We know it's about to turn into that Cardi B, the money move time here on the Nazareth 360 Racing Network. Right now is Brady LaBeouf trying to cash in, trying to make some money moves himself. But he's trying to catch that draft coming off the 18. Having some problems here down the backstretch right now as a run starting to build, though. Just as I say that, coming off of 2. We might have a battle raging for the lead here right before those green flag pit stops.
Yeah, green flag pit stops. I'm expecting them sooner than later within the next 10 to 15 laps, unless we're going to see some interesting strategies. Steven Thomas to the inside of Robbie Richards. Can he get the position? Should be able to, down to 1 and 2 this time by. Meanwhile, Kyle Hess has gotten back around Kerry Tribute. He's up into the 9th position. He's looking to chase down Justin White for 8th now. So things happening now. You're seeing Hamilton and Richards start to fall back towards Hess and Tribute. A lot of interesting dynamics. That was tight off of 2 that time by.
Oh my goodness! Now about to mention the 23 is Steven Thomas. Oh, good thing I didn't. I almost put that commentator's curse on him. Up 20 spots from the drop of the green flag. What a drive of the 23 so far inside the top 5 here. 111 laps in down to corner number 1.
Thomas made contact with Richards that time by in 3 and 4. Richards didn't like it. Thomas didn't really care for his response. Richards has some damage to the left side of that 48 machine. Meanwhile, everyone else is kind of single file. This is going to allow Kyle Hess to reel in this group as Justin White's to the inside of Sean Hamilton. Brady LaBeouf, though, has gotten by Justin Lumpkin for the lead.
Yeah, we saw him catching him. We saw that big run out of the 9 right there. The 9 is now our new race leader here in the city of rock and roll at Nashville. He is shredding that guitar at the top of the grid. Brady LaBeouf trying to use some Bayou energy here tonight at Nashville as he's leading the way here, 111 laps in.
That might be a big thing for Bray, as that puts Lumpkin between himself and Adam Newber. Adam Newber had closed it down to a 2nd between the 2 drivers. They're going to see these 3 come together. Meanwhile, we have 110 laps complete, looking to complete 111 laps this time by. Coming down to the wire here at Nashville SuperSpeedway for the ButtKicker 200. Meanwhile, the battle rages on. Kyle Hess trying to catch Sean Hamilton now, as Justin White's gotten by the 89 machine.
Yeah, last time by the 9 machine, Brady LaBeouf, the fastest truck on the racetrack. So no lies on that scoring grid right now as the 9 machine is definitely the fastest truck on the racetrack. But we got to watch out for those green flag pit stops as we had some action here. We're going to throw up an instant replay here on the Nazareth 360 Racing Network. This was the pass for the lead. Brady LaBeouf wisely goes to the inside there on the entry of 3. Just gets right back, swings that nose right in front of the 18. Clean move there, Tyler. Clean, classy move there out of the 9.
Yeah, he kind of stuck to the bottom there, and that forced Lumpkin to check up a little bit. Couldn't get the momentum off the corner. Brady takes the lead and starting to set sail. Meanwhile, Adam Newbert to the back of Justin Lumpkin here for the 2nd position. Call it just 2 tenths between those 2. This is what Brady wants to see, a battle for 2nd place. Try and get some time and then come down pit row and try and get more time on fresh tires. So to see how the leader plays. If I'm Brady LaBeouf, I want to be the first driver down pit road, but Lumpkin's going to move out of the way of his Swim Motorsport teammate. Adam Newbert is going to go chase down the leader now.
Adam Newbert right there has been fast all night long. Just hasn't had any battles up at the lead just yet as the money man is trying to cash in. Once again, the 4 machine I talked about during tonight's broadcast dominated there. I'd say it was a stretch of wins of about 5 wins and 8 or 9 races, Tyler. Then we had the likes of Nathan Maurer, who won 4 races in a row during that regular season. So the 4 and the 971 definitely dominated during that regular season. Now here in these playoff races haven't been the same drivers we saw. Could be this race that ignites that fire back underneath both those drivers.
First competitive truck down pit road, that's Justin Lumpkin. He pits from the 3rd position. So pit stop strategies have begun here. Waiting to see if Brady LaBeouf and Adam Newbert come in this time by. I don't think they can wait too long for Lumpkin to pit.
No, they can't wait too long right now. It's going to go by the entry of pit road. The 9 machine's going to stay up, but the 4 is not. Oh my goodness, goes off-road, Tyler.
That may be deemed an unsafe pit entry, yet to be seen. Sometimes iRacing will penalize you if you don't get down early enough, but he got below the cone, so he should be okay. But that's going to be significantly slower for Adam Newbert. If I'm Brady LaBeouf, I'm pitting this time.
Yeah, it has to right now as Adam Newbert. That's probably going to come across the radio for the 9 machine. Going to let him know that the 4 had difficulty getting down pit road. Go ahead and head down now. That green light indicator is going off for the 4 to head down pit road. We'll have to see if he does that. There he is right there. The 9 is down pit road there. Excuse me, I said the 4 a second ago. It was the 9 of Brady LaBeouf. He is down pit road right now.
Can't afford to speed. Very slow stop for Adam Newbert, 17 seconds. So he had some issues getting into his pit box as well, compounding an error with another error. Adam Newbert, everything has gone wrong this time here on the strategy call. So interesting to see how things shake out. I want to see what Justin Lumpkin's pit stop time was. It was in the 14, so See what Brady LaBeouf times comes out, if he had a good entry or not. Brady LaBeouf should be firing away right now. Brady LaBeouf fires away. That's the 14-6 pit stop for Brady LaBeouf.
And folks, if you're watching along with us here in the Azure 360 Racing Network, this is the favorite part of the race for me. This is the Yahtzee reshuffle of the grid. You're going to see drivers flip-flopping there at the top of the grid. You're going to probably see your favorite driver leading for just a second, or maybe a driver that hasn't led in laps this season get a few laps around in the lead. Then you're going to see your favorite drivers put in that work to try to climb that grid once again. And once everything gets filtered out, Tyler, you're going to see those leaders re-emerge at the top of the grid, and that opens the door for some excellent shootout racing down the stretch.
Brady LaBeouf has a rear fuel mirror of Adam Newbert. Justin Lumpkin gets by both of them by pitting first. So freshest tires will go to Brady LaBeouf, but Adam Newbert has the momentum and is up to temperatures. Meanwhile, Lumpkin's running down the field. He ran shorts. That's going to mean he's going to unlap himself probably naturally here in the next few laps. Nate Maurer, currently your race leader. Lumpkin, though, stuck in traffic. That's not where he wants to be in contact with Kyle.
Oh, no, things got very, very crazy for the 18 of Justin Lumpkin right there. Stayed in the fight, though. As now you see the 23 of Stephen Thomas down pit road here. We got 31 laps to go here in the city of rock and roll as this race rocks and rolls to the finish here down the backstretch.
Lumpkin stuck behind these two side-by-side cars of White and Hamilton. That's going to allow Brady LaBeouf and Adam Newbert to close much more quickly. Lumpkin's got to get through traffic here sooner than later. That's 3 wide there through the middle.
Oh my God, he just full sent it off of 4 right there. Boy, that was a tight move out of the 18. The 18 is hungry here tonight, doesn't care about 3 wide battles. He spoke about that in a early race interview there. No stress for the 18. He can pull off those 3 wide moves. He can go full send right there. Shout out to the Nelk boys. The 18 trying to eat up spots like Pac-Man here tonight, down into 3 and 4.
Brady LaBeouf makes quick work of Hamilton and White, and he's going to get on Richards. Richards pitting this time by. He just announced it over the radio. So Robbie Richards coming down pit road. He'll make pit road speed, looks like pretty safely. Brady LaBeouf, though, on the back bumper of Justin Lumpkin. Now that'll be the race for the lead once Nathan Maurer comes down pit road, as well as Sean Hamilton, Justin White, Kyle Hess, Tyler Daniels, Zach Hartwick, Hagan, Broadfoot, and Lyons are the remaining drivers who have yet to pit. So Richards now pit road. Morales down pit road. But battle for the presumptual race lead starting to heat up between Lumpkin, Brady LaBeouf, and Adam Newbert.
Yeah, boy, what a batch of drivers we have to await to head down pit road. And Tyler, I'm looking at that lap count here. And depending on when these drivers head down pit road, gosh, you're looking at a gap of around 9 or 10 drivers still have yet to head down pit road. This is going to be quite the finish. We're probably looking at around less than 20 laps to go when those leaders re-emerge at the top of the grid. And boy, what a shootout that's going to be for that golden ticket between some drivers that are wanting to punch that into the championship 4.
Yeah, Nate Maurer finally came down pit road. He's in his boxing surface. Sean Hamilton's going to come this time. Meanwhile, Justin White, Kyle has stay out another lap. Those are your races. Sean Hamilton spins on entry. He keeps it going. We stay green.
Oh man, that entry at pit road here at Nashville is being a little tricky for some of these drivers right now. As we're raging off of 4, there's Tyler Daniels in the 95. He's down pit road here. Look at Justin Lumpkin, though. He has a battle between the Brady LaBeouf in the 9s right there. Now, this is not a battle for the lead just yet. Watching some battles on the racetrack right now. Our leader on the track, though, Justin White in that 2. Feeling the pressure from the 86 of Kyle Hess as the 2 heads down pit road. In the 86.
Yep, they're both down pit road, so now looking towards our future battle for the lead. That's Brady LaBeouf and Justin Lumpkin. LaBeouf looking to his outside here as they come off the corner down the back straightaway, I believe. So these two drivers racing hard. Adam Newbert's right there in the wings waiting for it, though.
Yeah, right now, Zach Hartwick, our race leader, Dan Hagan right there. They have yet to head down pit road. Just running those comfy laps, if you will, right now. Trying to make their trucks look good on the racetrack. Of course, going to shine some light on Donnie Lyons and that 79. Looking extra, so fresh and so clean. And that paint scheme here tonight. We spoke to Justin Lumpkin about his paint scheme here, picked out by his girlfriend. Could be a paint scheme we see for a while if the 18 can get into victory lane here tonight. As right now, he's back with a 9. Oh my God, the gloves are off down the backstretch.
Big block by Justin Lumpkin, similar to the block Brady LaBeouf threw on Adam Newbert earlier. That's going to allow Newbert to the inside of Brady LaBeouf. Brady LaBeouf should have the momentum off the corner. They're going to be side by side. Tight battle. LaBeouf's to the rear bumper of Lumpkin. Newbert's going to give his teammate a push to the enter 1 and 2.
Oh, this is quite the battle. What is going to be a battle for the lead here with 25 laps to go. Zach Hartwick still leads the way momentarily. Dan Hagen right there. Brandon Broadfoot right there. 1, 2, 3. Then that door swings open for what's going to be our leaders of Justin Lumpkin, Brady LaBeouf, and Adam Newbert right now as we're door to door between these guys with 24 laps to go.
Lumpkin tried to throw a late block, didn't have the timing to work with it. Newbert's going to push his teammate, try to get the lead there. Brady LaBeouf will lead that lap just by the smallest of margins if they were the leaders. But it's still Zach Hartwick, Dan Hagen, Brandon Broadfoot, 1, 2, 3. But Brady LaBeouf's going to clear Lumpkin here off of 2. Can Lumpkin do the crossover down the back straightaway?
Yeah, time is ticking for these guys. 1, 2, 3 on the racetrack. It's going to open the door for this 1, 2, 3 battle we're watching right now here in the Nazareth 360 Racing Network. Again, as these battles rage on, if you've liked what you've seen here tonight, we invite you to go ahead and like, subscribe, share, all that fun stuff. Check us out on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter to keep up to date with all the iRacing action we provide here at Nazareth. But with 23 laps to go, one of these drivers will punch their ticket into the next round, with the exception of the 18 who's trying to play Wedding Crasher here tonight, trying to play his best. Owen Wilson here tonight, trying to crash the party of a playoff driver. But right now, we're looking at Brady LaBeouf or Adam Newbert could be our first championship 4.
Yeah, first member of the championship 4 between Brady LaBeouf, Adam Newbert, barring any disasters here late. Zach Hartwick, Brandon Broadfoot still first and second. They have yet to pit. Meanwhile, Brady LaBeouf and Adam Newbert lead the best of the rest who have completed their stops. 22 laps to go. Nate Maurer was the last driver to come down pit road. He's lapping faster than the leaders by about 2 to 3 tenths of a second right now, but he is significantly further behind this group by about 5 seconds, so he's running out of laps if he wants to catch these front 2.
I run out of laps indeed right now with 21 laps to go. Things are coming to a close. Brian Broadfoot heads down pit road in that 24 machine. Caught his live stream for just a minute. Shout out to Brandon during his live stream here today. That's going to be extremely difficult, Tyler, to drive a race car and live stream at the same time. So shout out to the 24 for multitasking here tonight. But right now, Justin Lumpkin, Adam Newbert, Brady LaBeouf, all battling out for the race victory. They're still waiting for some players to head down pit road, though, here as we come around 3 and 4.
Zach Hartwick, the final holdout in that 6 machine, still leading laps here. Sienna's 1 and 2 this time by. He's about to get caught by Brady LaBeouf, Adam Newbert. They're only 7 seconds behind and lapping about a second a lap faster, so they may catch him naturally here if he doesn't come down the next, 5 to 6 laps.
Things are counting down here with 20 laps to go. Brady LaBeouf leads this pack of hungry dogs. I'd have to say there, Justin Lumpkin's been coming on strong here. Has been a contender throughout the season. Tyler, just not the season the 18 wanted. It just got away from him there. The 18, not a championship driver in the mix here tonight. Definitely racing like it, though, amongst some of the heavyweights that we've seen all season long. 18 just had one great run here tonight, currently 4th. I'm sure he wants to be a little bit better on that grid. But right now, the 18 raging on as we look at Zach Hartwick still holding down the grid. Nathan Maurer right there. Stephen Thomas as well. Just waiting for him to head down pit road to 6, and that will open the door for that scoring grid.
Just as you say that, Will, he is down pit road, so race leader this time by should be Brady LaBeouf. Brady LaBeouf inherits the race lead. It's a lap car between him and Adam Newbert now. That's the 39 of Dan Hagen, who's on fresher tires. So Dan Hagen maybe playing into Brady LaBeouf's hands a little bit here, unless he passes him here, which he should on fresh tires. Much better corner speed. He's going to go to the outside of Brady LaBeouf down the back straightaway.
Yeah, Dan Hagen looks to the outside there in that NASA machine right there. Brady LaBeouf's going to see that, going to know what's happening there on the top side, going to let the 39 go. Adam Newbert, that's a move that I just saw there, Tyler. Not many folks are going to see that there. Adam Newbert could have made the pass to the outside of the 9 after the lapped car went by. Wisely followed back in to say, okay, that's not the right opportunity. I knew the 9 was checking up to let the 39 go. I'm going to wait my turn and go by. What an awesome move from the 4.
Well, it was an awesome move. I just think he didn't have the momentum there to get the job done. He tried, got to the rear bumper, but couldn't do it. Oh, big block there. Almost ends in disaster. The trucks get very, very loose on entry. Brady LaBeouf, very shallow entry into 3 and 4. Newbert's going to get to the bottom of him here down the front straightaway. Nope, he goes to the outside.
Oh, what a battle we got raging on right now. Bobbing and weaving right now at the top of the grid. The 9 machine of Brady LaBeouf trying to use all that Bayou energy that he can use right now at the top of the grid, trying to hold off the money man himself, trying to cash in once again right now as we're down the backstretch with 16 laps to go.
They need to be careful. Nate Maurer now 2.3 seconds back. He's running 7/10 a lap faster. He's got tons of time to do it clean racing. If these two start to battle hard, you could see a fourth driver enter this conversation, and they're both going to bring Justin Lumpkin with them.
Yeah, Justin Lumpkin right there in the 18 is going to watch from just a distance right now with 15 laps to go. I'm going to watch these two battle it out. Probably going to slowly creep into the picture here as we close things out. We just saw a little bit of a weather malfunction here at the track, Tyler. Went from night to day on the racetrack. But right now we look at some other battles raging on here within the grid. Adam Newbert now right on the back bumper of the 9 here down the backstretch.
Yeah, sun came out from behind the clouds, so it looks like the track may heat up a little bit here late in this race as we're getting further into the evening here at Nashville SuperSpeedway. Meanwhile, again, Nate Maurer, half a second faster than the leaders that time by. Call him 1.6 seconds behind the leaders, 3/4 of a second behind Justin Lumpkin in third. We could see that 971 sneak into the picture here as they're chasing down that lap truck of Chris Blanchard up ahead.
Yeah, Chris Blanchard, one of the drivers that were on the outside looking in, coming into tonight's race. Not going to be the performance that Chris wanted behind the wheel of that truck here tonight. That's going to really put all the pressure on him to perform at Talladega. Even going into that race, Tyler, it's going to be in an enormous mountain to climb to try to get into that championship 4. But as you mentioned, though, Tyler, you win that race at Talladega next week. Doesn't matter how far away you are locked in that championship 4. So for Chris, it's probably going to be a win and you're in situation next week.
Yeah, not the night Blanchard won it at all. He's probably going to maybe just let these leaders go. Last truck on the lead lap. So, yep, he's just going to tell the leaders to go low. He's going to stay high here through the tri-oval. Bravebuff needs to make sure he doesn't get too shallow of an entry. Allow Adam Newbert to have a really good 1 and 2 this time by. But nope, Newbert gets caught in a weird angle in the middle of the corner. Brady should get a good exit. Newbert will not get a solid exit. Meanwhile, Nate Maurer has moved up into the third position. He's got by Justin Lumpkin. Call it a second to the Adam Newbert for Nate Maurer. Meanwhile, Newbert hung up on that lap truck of Chris Blanchard. Brady LaBeouf opening up almost a half-second lead.
Yeah, Brady LaBeouf loved to hear that over the radio, that the 4 was having difficulties with Chris Blanchard, though. The 9 can't get too comfortable, though. The 4 has now cleared the 9. Here comes the 971, though. Nathan Maurer looking like a rocket here at Nashville, coming around corner number 2 right now. If you can start to catch that draft off of that lap truck in the mix, and he's starting to do that right now. Down the backstretch, you see the 971 starting to reel in Chris Blanchard. If he can use that to his advantage, we might see the 971 in contention as well, as we have 3 championship drivers now, 1, 2, 3 on the grid with 11 laps to go.
Nate Maurer said, oh, it looked like Adam Newbert may have gotten in the wall there off of 4. Super loose. He is much slower now down the front straightaway. Brady LaBeouf almost a 3/4 second lead. Nate Maurer is going to close up on Adam Newbert's number 4 machine. Remember, Nate Maurer stayed out longest of these top 5 drivers, has the freshest tires by about 5 to 6 laps. So he's going to use that to his advantage here as we have 10 laps to go, coming to 9 laps to go, and Brady LaBeouf comes back around.
Boy, Tyler, I know you can't see it up here in the booth, but I am sweating through my suit up here. I know if I'm sweating, these drivers are sweating. Think about what's on the line here with 9 laps to go. We have 3 championship drivers, all but with a chance to punch their ticket in the championship 4. You think about it, Tyler, a 20-week season. You lock yourself in. You could be one of the 4 drivers left with a championship shot. Now here with 9 laps to go, we'll see who will be the first driver in.
Yeah, and the advantage is if you lock yourself in tonight, you can start practicing for Chicagoland tomorrow. Get ready, get that truck used, get some long runs in, work on your qualifying pace. Really figure out what you want from the truck in 2 weeks' time, because you don't have to worry about Talladega at all. You just got to show up, run around the track all day long, maybe go for a win at the end if you want to make some money. Otherwise, it doesn't matter what you do at Talladega as long as you show up at the end of the day. Brady LaBeouf now 3/4 second lead. It's coming to 7 laps to go this time by. It's super competitive, though. Up front, Nate Maurer has gotten to the back of Adam Newbert.
And you think about those self-reflection moments that we all have, Tyler. You think about when this race is all said and done with 7 laps to go. Now you can sit back and realize that you are one of 4 top drivers here, the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series. You have lasted 20 weeks, and now you are one of 4 drivers left for the championship hopes. And right now, with 7 laps to go, that could be the 9 of Bray LaBeouf, could be the 4 of Adam Newbert, or it could be the 971 of Nathan Maurer. All 3 have had incredible seasons up to this point. Who will be one of those trucks racing for a championship at the end?
These are your top 3 drivers coming in tonight into the points. And these are your top 3 drivers here at the end of this race. They have 6 laps to go this time by. Still about 7/10 of a second lead. Bray LaBeouf, Adam Newbert. Adam Newbert's closing, though. Call it 6.5 tenths. Meanwhile, Nate Mauer's trying to get to the back of Adam Newbert. You're running out of laps here, though. These drivers have to get up on their horse if they want to get to the back of that number 9 machine late here in this race. Meanwhile, Stephen Thomas will hold serve in the 5th position. He's got quite a bit of a gap back to Robbie Richards. Kyle Hess was running well. He's back in the 9th position, I believe, ahead of Cody Knott.
Yeah, great runs for those drivers here. I know Kyle Hess probably wanted a better finish here tonight, down 6 spots from the drop of the green flag. Solid top 10, though, from Kyle Hess in that 86. Been a solid season for the 86 machine. Again, in the playoff chase, still here in the Elite 8. So definitely one of the top 8 trucks so far this season. But looking at those drivers that were on the outside looking in, Sean Hamilton in the 89 machine in 8th. Robbie Richards right there in the 48 machine in 6th right there. All 3 of those drivers right now cruising to a top 10 spot. But right now, back all eyes at the top of the grid is Bray LaBeouf now starting to feel some pressure from the 4, Adam Newbert, as you saw the interval drop just a little bit there. But you see that gap still sustaining here down the backstretch.
Yeah, the advantage Bray LaBeouf has is he doesn't necessarily have to overdrive the truck. Adam Newbert has to do a hell of a lot more to catch up to Bray LaBeouf than Bray LaBeouf does to allow Adam Newbert to catch him. Bray LaBeouf just needs to run smooth, consistent laps. Adam Newbert has to be more aggressive with the throttle application, be willing to get on the gas earlier and run that risk of maybe hitting the wall off 2 and 4. Bray LaBeouf, nice and easy. 3 to go here. Keep the truck planted to the bottom. Don't overdo it. That's fine if Newbert gains a little bit in the corner, in the middle of the corner. He's probably going to lose it on exit, as you see there.
Yeah, throw up those 3s. Rest in peace to Dale Earnhardt, because we're heading into corner number 3 right now here. This is the ButtKicker 200. We're watching right now which driver will punch that golden ticket to Willy Wonka's Chocolate Factory there in the championship 4 at Chicagoland. We go to Talladega next week, but none of these 3 drivers, although they've had incredible seasons, want their championship hopes to hang on the high banks right now. Is Adam Newbert trying to get a run off of 2 to reel in? Break off the Bayou Energy Man down to corner number 3.
3 tenths faster last time by. He's only 3 tenths behind the leader. He's going to close that gap here as we're looking for the white flag. Bray LaBeouf just hoping he does not see a caution. Getting the white flag this time by. Call it 3 tenths still between the 2 as they enter the white flag lap.
One to go here at the city of rock and roll here at Nashville. Bray LaBeouf will take us down to the first corner here. That'll make it corner number 2. 2 corners to go here as Adam Newbert's trying to get a run on the backstretch.
Nate Maurer thought he had a chance. That chance no more. Adam Newbert, does he throw it in here deep in 3 and 4?
Whoa.
Does he try something different? Bray LaBeouf misses the entry. Adam Newbert gets to the back bumper, kicked it at the stick. He'll slide up the corner. Brady LaBeouf controls stage 3 and wins the ButtKicker 200 at Nashville.
Oh, using that Bayou Energy here tonight. Bray LaBeouf, our first driver, into that championship 4 at Chicagoland. Better get some Cajun in season for them hot dogs there in the Windy City, because Bray LaBeouf will be racing for a championship in 2 weeks' time.
Boss Man gets it done just a week after his LSU women's basketball team won the college championship. Brady LaBeouf comes into Nashville tonight, takes control of the 3rd stage after getting by Justin Lumpkin, runs a very solid race, was up in the top 5 all night long, top 3 all night long, Will, and gets the win here in Nashville.
Yeah, the boss man now is going to burn down them Goodyear Eagles here at Nashville. It's going to be a party here in the city of rock and roll. The boss man punches that ticket. Huge win here tonight. He's going to go ahead and pay himself, Tyler, here with this huge win. Boy, what a beautiful donut here in Nashville.
Yeah, it goes in the grass a little bit, but he's excited to get that win, lock himself into the championship 4, and he can go to Talladega next week with 0 pressure, Will.
Oh, all we love. Zero pressure. Brady LaBeouf can just sit back, watch everything unfold. As you mentioned, Tyler, he can get to practicing for Chicago tomorrow if he chooses. But right now, he's going to celebrate everything. There's a lot of things that just happened with this victory. He gets the win here tonight. Big win for Brady LaBeouf in the 9. Been a long time since we've seen those LSU colors in victory lane. With that victory, first driver locked in for that championship race at Chicagoland. Brady LaBeouf now is one of the top 4 drivers here in the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series. And boy, Brady LaBeouf is hungry for that championship.
Yeah, Brady LaBeouf really putting himself in a solid position, looking forward to this championship for in 2 weeks' time at Chicagoland. But now we need to go through our race recap here, starting with your final results, official results here in the SamRacerHub.com Truck Series. ButtKicker 200 from Nashville SuperSpeedway. Your race winner, Brady LaBeouf. Adam Newbert, another playoff driver, a very solid night for him as well. He'll finish second. Nate Maurer, your regular season champion, another solid night. He'll finish third, so those two will be second and third in the playoff standings next week. Brady LaBeouf obviously locking himself in. Meanwhile, fourth position, Justin Lumpkin led a lot of laps tonight, but didn't have the same long-run pace as the drivers ahead of him. He'll drop to fourth. Stephen Thomas will finish fifth. Robbie Richards, playoff driver on the outside looking in to start tonight. He'll finish sixth. Kerry Tribune was the last driver on the plus side of points coming into the night. He may fall on the outside looking in after stage points are calculated tonight. He finished seventh. Sean Hamilton, eighth. Another playoff driver, Kyle Hess, ninth. And Cody Knott rounds out your top 10. Where's Chris Blanchard, you may ask? Chris Blanchard, second car, one lap down. He'll finish 19th when it comes to playoff drivers, Will.
Yeah, we look at somebody that just finished just outside the top 10. Jason Morales in that 5 is going to finish at 11th. Ron Hunter, we spoke about a pretty good run here tonight for the 30 machine. Tyler, he's going to finish 12th. For the weeks he's been having behind the wheel at 30, that's going to be a win for the 30 here tonight. Brandon Block in that 17, truck's going to finish 13th. Talia's in the 95. We saw the late race problems in 95 ran into. He's going to finish on the lead lap, though, in 14th. Justin White in that 2 is going to finish 15th. Dan Hagan's going to finish 16th. And James Morris here tonight, a late entry into this race. Tyler going to finish on the lead lap in 17th position. You touched on it here. A few of these drivers are going to finish at lap down. Look at that. Zach Hardwick, Chris Blanchard, Brand Bradford, all a lap down. Donnie Lyons in at 79, 2 laps down. And then Charles Keller Jr. in the 99. And, of course, Steve Barnett in that 42. We saw the issues that 42 ran into here tonight, Tyler. But before we kick off our post-race recap show, we're going to show you that last lap replay here. We're going to step aside. We'll be right back with those podium finishers. Alrighty, we're back, race fans, here in the Nazareth 360 Racing Network. We just saw the conclusion of the ButtKicker 200 here at Nashville. My name is William Tiller. I've been joined here tonight by Tyler Dittmer, and the man providing all the pictures for you here tonight has been Adam Flieger. We just saw Brady LaBeouf, the Bayou Energy Machine, the boss man here at Nazareth, punch the first golden ticket into the championship 4. But Tyler, I believe it is time we catch up with those podium finishers here tonight, one of which who's had an incredible season so far, our regular season champion, Nathan Maurer, the 971.
Yeah, Nathan Maurer joining with me here now. Third place finisher, Nathan. You followed last week's win at Charlotte with a third place finish tonight, setting yourself up well entering Talladega next week. Saw you coming towards those 2 leaders at the end. Was there anything you could have done to get it done, or were just the tires giving up at that point?
Yeah, I think I kind of laid off. So I got around Steven. Got around Steven. I thought he was going to race me harder than what he did. Appreciate you that, Steven. I got around him, and I just kind of went back to my normal race pace. And because I thought for sure we were gonna get a caution, I felt like I was sitting pretty good. We get a caution maybe 10 laps to go. Have like 6, 7 lap fresher tires than the guys in front of me, and then about that 5 to 8 lap. Like about 5 to 8 laps left, I said, I guess we ain't gonna get a caution and time to go, and just pretty much ran out of time. It's one thing to catch them, but it's another thing to get around them. Very hard to pass here.
Yeah, a very challenging place to pass. Indeed, we saw trucks dealing with a tight condition all night long. Nathan, we saw a bunch of trucks getting into the wall off of 4. What was it like coming off of 4, and what made it such a challenge for the drivers tonight?
I almost hit it a couple times. Yeah, it was just, I don't know, 1 and 2, 3 and 4, totally 2 different corners from each other. I could not figure out what Newbert was doing. He almost hit it. I seen him almost hit it a couple times. I didn't get as close as what he did, but I have no. I think he was taking later. I don't know. I don't really know. It was the trucks were tight. You get behind somebody really tight. Luckily for me, I was only behind Newbert for maybe 15 laps, and he just started checking out again. But then I started catching back up to him towards the end of the run. But yeah, turn 4 was definitely the hardest turn of all Nashville tonight.
As we look forward to Talladega next week, obviously unable to lock yourself into the next round tonight. Are you have to go out there and race for stage points next week, or are you going to hang back?
Dude, I'll let the idiots all go up there and wreck. It's you know how Dega goes. It's anybody who's racing. It's gonna be. I hope that nobody that's won this season goes out there and gets a win. Yeah, that's how I am at these super speedways. I just ride around the back, and hopefully it'll work out like it did for me in the Friday Night League here in NSR, in Nazareth. So we are not going to be going for stage points next week. We're just going to be riding the back and hopefully keeping our truck clean till the end.
Viable strategy indeed, Nathan. Well, before we let you go tonight, is there anyone you'd like to thank?
Yeah, thank you to Brady for not letting Newbert win again tonight. So big shout out to him. Shout out to you guys up in the broadcast booth. I'm glad that Tyler, you're back. So I heard you're sick. Glad you're feeling better. Shout out to just everybody who puts on this league, all the sponsors, Sim Racer Hub, and everybody behind the scenes for doing everything.
We appreciate you spending time with us tonight, Nathan. Best of luck next week at Talladega, and look forward to hopefully seeing you in the Championship 4 in 2 weeks' time in Chicagoland.
Thank you, guys. You guys have a good night.
You as well. Meanwhile, Will Tiller is standing by with our second place finisher, Adam Newbert.
Yes, sir. It is time to catch up with the money man himself, the 4 machine of Adam Newbert. Here is going to finish second. A little bit different than seeing the 4 in victory lane, but Adam, good run here tonight. And what was a pretty eventful race. Of course, we had Justin Lumpkin winning those stage victories there. Brady LaBeouf comes out as the victor. You finished second, though, but it looked like the majority of the race was a battle between, let's say, all the top dogs here in the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series.
Yeah, I'm just a little mad at myself. I gave that one away. I felt like I had the best long run truck all night long, and I couldn't use it at the end. And I slipped. And when we did those pit stops, I freaking went through the grass. I don't know if y'all caught it or not. I went through the grass. I slid through the box. Man, I kicked myself in the foot hard. I gotta quit doing that shit. That's not how you win championships. So yeah, we had the best long run truck, and then I just drove too hard to Brady right there, and Brady was able to stay in front. It was hard once you caught somebody and got within a few tenths of them to really pull up to them and pass them. Especially hard to pass here. But congrats to Brady. He deserved that win. He was strong all night long. He learned something from me at the end of stage 2, and I maybe shouldn't have done it, but we did it. And I don't know, we'll be okay. Hopefully we got enough stage points, got enough race points right here to be all right going into Dega.
Yeah, I think I don't want to speak too soon, but I think you might be locked into that Championship 4 for Chicagoland. I don't want to speak too soon for you, Adam. I know you had an incredible season. I think you've done enough there. But one thing I wanted to ask you here, during this race, we had the likes of Barnett in the 42 that led early on. We had the 18 of Justin Lumpkin right there. Drivers that are out of that championship hunt, out of the playoff contention. Drivers, we spoke to the 18 of Justin Lumpkin that have no stress, no worries, just out here racing for that bag, so to say. Does that make you nervous at all going door to door with them, or do you know that they're going to give it their all just like you're going to give it your all?
It depends on who it is. there's one person I probably wouldn't do that to with Justin. Justin's my teammate, so Justin's going to race me clean. And I'm always going to pull for him to win. Even if it knocks me out of a win, I'm going to pull for him to win all the time anyway. So, it just depends on who's around me, who it is.
Yeah, as things heat up across the board here at Nazareth, of course, we have the Triple M Pulling Truck Series, of course, this series here, Adam. And, I don't want to jump a week there looking past Talladega, but looking at Chicagoland, some of the drivers you're going to have to compete with at that championship race, what are some of the things you're looking out for? And who do you think is going to be that top driver you're going to have to battle with?
Brady's going to be tough. Here's the points just come out. Brady's going to be tough. And Nathan Maurer, he's got a pretty good cushion. Me and him are tied in points. So me and him, I gotta count this up real quick just so I can give y'all my realistic opinion here.
Well,
me and him have a 29-point lead over the cutoff.
Yep, I was just about to say, Adam, you are currently tied with Nate Maurer for the points lead, 29 over the cutoff. Brady LaBeouf obviously locked into the next round, so that'll determine a lot of how the future plays. Back to you, Will, for the interview.
Yeah, no, things are very things that you can see clearly now. The rain is gone, so to say, Adam. And before we let you go, my man, I think we touched on it during the broadcast. Now that we know you're locked into that championship 4, we want to give you an opportunity to maybe plug that podcast that you do every Wednesday here. You do race recaps. You talk about all the things going on, Nazareth, some of the drivers. You have guests on there. If you want to maybe speak about that Wednesday podcast, where I'm sure you're going to be talking about these race results shaping up for that championship 4.
Yeah, we're definitely going to talk about it. I was actually about to say that before you mentioned that. There's a lot to talk about in this final 8. I won't sit here and bore the broadcast. I know y'all want to get to Brady. But if we're going to talk about this Wednesday night in the Nazareth 360 weekly podcast. If y'all tune in on the Nazareth 360 Racing Network at Wednesday at 9 p.m. every week, we're going to have Keith Bradley on this week as our guest. The Triple M Pulling Truck Series all-time winner. So we're going to talk about, his career and everything. And then we're going to talk about this tonight. So it's going to be fun. If it's just to put it point blank period, you go in safe, and Robbie and Kerry are going to fight for that final cutoff spot, it looks like. But if anybody wins underneath of them, it's going to be interesting. So hopefully we just go in, maybe get a few stage points, have a clean race at Talladega. I just want to finish it and move on to the final 4.
Boy, a lot of crazy things happening here at Nazareth. Adam, before we let you go, though, anybody else you wanted to shout out here before we let you check out in that second place finish?
Yeah, I'm so freaking pumped right now. My heart's racing from that. That was so much fun racing. I'll just thank all the sponsors at Swim, Millie's Landing, Aislon Landscaping, Dare's No Gun Repair, Ladanco, First Pacific Funding, Roofco Group, The Spatulas, Family Handyman, Millie's Restaurant and Catering, Millie's North, and DSR Electric. And thanks Jeff Stick with It Motorsports, my teammates Justin Lumpkin, Stephen Thomas, Adam Newton, spotting for me tonight pretty much, helping me out with the car setup and everything. Thank y'all up in the broadcast booth. I want to say thank Brady for putting on the league, but you know what? Piss on Brady right now. So, no, thank you to Brady for sure for putting on the league and everything.
Yes, sir. Well, it's a second place finish for the money man himself, Adam Newbert. We'll see you at Talladega in 1 week's time, but we'll also see you in that championship 4 at Chicagoland in 2 weeks' time. Adam Newbert, the driver of the 4 machine here. We appreciate it.
Thank y'all.
Yes, sir. That was Adam Newbert, the driver of the 4 machine, second place finisher, Tyler. But I can smell the Cajun seasoning. I can smell the gumbo. I can smell the crawfish from up here in the booth, Tyler. You're down in victory lane with a man who is very, very happy, Brady LaBeouf.
Yeah, in victory lane with the boss man, Brady LaBeouf, and that number 9, Mission 1 Esports Machine. 1 week after his LSU Lady Tigers brought home the national championship in women's college basketball, Brady LaBeouf brings home the victory here in the ButtKicker 200 at Nashville SuperSpeedway, locking yourself into that championship 4 in 2 weeks' time in Chicagoland. Brady, has to be a huge weight off your shoulders getting the win tonight and not having to worry about Talladega next week.
Yeah, absolutely, Tyler. I didn't expect this at all tonight because me and Kyle Hess, we practiced a lot during the week, and I was nowhere near up to par than what he was. And I know he had some trouble early on. I felt bad for him, but yeah, I didn't expect this going into the race tonight.
Well, I mean, having known racing with you here at Nashville SuperSpeedway, I knew you had speed. Figured you'd be up front all night long, but it seemed like you were one of the better long run trucks tonight. Looks like Justin Lumpkin was able to fire off better the first 20 laps of a run, but after about 20 laps, you were clearly the faster truck. Got by him before those green flag stops, and no mistakes coming to pit road. Saw Adam Newber get sideways into the grass coming to pit road. You think little things like that add up, as well as just you running such a clean race throughout?
Yeah, I mean, the first stage went pretty hard just to kind of figure out what the track was like on older tires, and Kyle had some misfortune right there, and I was able to get by him, but then Adam passed me, and then the second stage, me and Justin was, we pull away, and I knew it was going to be hard to pass Justin, so I was just trying to figure it out, and then I started losing some time. The right front got heated up pretty bad, and then when Adam passed me at the end of stage 2, I didn't realize he was shifting, so I kind of caught on to that trick and used that to my advantage. So about after 20 to 25 laps into the run, I started shifting, and I can maintain my speed and hold off that gap from Adam. And then that final run, it was Lumpkin. I felt bad for him. He kind of burned up his stuff trying to get through lap traffic, held him up. And, I was conservative getting on and off pit road, but I knew I had to get out in front of Adam, and that's what I did. And I was able to use his little tactic against him, I guess you can say, to hold him off there at the end and come out with the victory.
Yeah, competitive battle between you, Newber, and Lumpkin all night long up front. You obviously against the two Stick With It Motorsports entries. Race result, point standings are already out. Obviously, you're locked in, but your teammate Kyle Hess is 5 points below, or 6 points below, correction. Kerry Tribute on that cutoff. Looks like you'll have to help him get some stage points next week. Is that how you're going to run the race at Talladega, knowing you're locked in, being able to work with your teammate more?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I just have to start and park, but I'm going to run it. I'm going to go out there and try to win, or try to push Kyle to the victory, and get 2 M1 entries in there to the final 4. So that's going to be the goal, is to get Kyle through to the next round, the final 4. And, either way, we're going to do that or go for the victory.
Oh, we appreciate you taking the time. We want you to be able to go celebrate that win. Second win on the season, Mr. Bossman, Brady LaBeouf. Looking forward to running out there with you guys next season. Hopefully I can maybe be competitive up there with you at the front of the field. But tonight, all about you, good sir, getting the job done. Is there anyone you'd like to thank?
Well, first and foremost, I want to thank my wife, my kids, for letting me do this every Monday night. They support me and give me my 2 hours, I guess you can say, to come and hang out with my buddies and race. It there's a lot at stake, but at the end of the day, it's all about fun. Hanging out with your friends. So appreciate to them. Thank you to you guys. We're 20. I want to say 22, 23 weeks into the season. I know it's long and grueling, but Adam, yourself, Tyler, and Will, thank you guys. I mean, for your commitment, showing up week in and week out, and everybody that helps me. The board of directors at NASRA, they do a great job to support me and support the league and make it what it is. And all my teammates at M1, Jason, Justin, and Kyle. Kyle, I really have to thank. I mean, that guy, gave up plenty of, probably about 8 hours of his time this past week to help me out, to make me better. So thank you to Kyle, and thank you to everybody that helps us out.
We appreciate you taking the time with us tonight. Bossman, Brady LaBeouf, getting that win tonight. Looking forward to seeing how you do next week at Talladega, and then excited to see what you bring to the table 2 weeks' time in the championship race at Chicagoland. But again, congrats on the win tonight, Brady, and enjoy celebrating.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
That was your race winner, Brady LaBeouf, tonight in the ButtKicker 200 from Nashville SuperSpeedway. Well, first driver locked in the championship for Brady LaBeouf. And we're pretty much close to saying Adam Newber and Nathan Maurer are locked in. Don't want to say it too quickly because, in theory, anything can happen next week. We could have Christopher Blanchard win and Kerry Tribute outpoint them all and get in, or Robbie Richards outpoint them all and get in. But right now, those two drivers probably feeling really comfortable leaving here tonight.
Yeah, and I know it's going to be an old graphic because it's been updated since then, but If we take a look at that right now, heading into Talladega, you got to look at this, Tyler. Right now, we have 3 drivers that are virtually locked in. You know, we could say Adam Newbert, Nathan Maurer, and now Brady LaBeouf are locked in. So that's not going to be a battle between Kerry Tribune, Robbie Richards, Kyle Hess, and Sean Hamilton for one final spot in that championship 4. Right now, the closest battle between Robbie Richards is 1 point. Kyle Hess is 5 points away. We look at Sean Hamilton 2 points away from 6, but still has a mathematical shot. If any of those 3 drivers win next week, Tyler, they will secure that last playoff spot.
Chris Blanchard also could win and be in thanks to tonight's race. So really, 3 drivers have a way of pointing their way in outside of Carriage View, who holds that last spot by a point. Chris Blanchard is essentially in a win-and-in scenario. He's 29 points below the cut line with the new playoff bracket, which we don't have yet for the screen. We'll have that for you guys next week before the start of the Talladega race. But looking forward to next week. Should be a very entertaining battle. As we look towards our team points, though, Mission 1 Esports, Brady LaBeouf gets the job done tonight. That's going to help that team point standing with him. Stick with the Motorsports, finishing second with Adam Newbert. That'll help them solidify second place. Nate Maurer in third with the Brute Force Motorsports. So top 3 teams will stay the top 3 teams. Carriage B with a solid run tonight for Hunter Performance Motorsports. Warrior Racing Esports top driver, I believe, was Cody, not in the 10th position tonight, finishing-wise. Then you have the 979 Racing. I believe Donnie Lyons was their top performer, and BP Racing for Autism had Tyler Daniels as their top performer tonight. So interesting to see how that dynamic shifts. But coming into the final few weeks here, the team point standings and the driver point standings are going to be the talk of the town. And then in about 3 weeks' time, it all resets after Chicagoland, and we're focused on to season 2, Will.
Yes, sir. Cannot wait for that moment. Cannot wait for sweet home Alabama next week. Talladega, the high banks there. Of course, tune into that Wednesday night podcast here at NASRA 360 Racing Network. Also, the Triple M Pulling Truck Series on Friday night if you want some more truck racing action. But we got a big event tomorrow night, Tyler. Almost forgot. It's the debut race of the late model series here. The Pulp Popper Late Model Series, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's the debut race of that series. Be sure to check that out tomorrow night, Tyler. But here tonight, it is Brady LaBeouf punching that golden ticket. Cannot wait to next week.
Yeah, next week, High Banks Talladega will decide our championship for certain. Will, pleasure always being in the booth. Glad to be back after being sick last week. Hopefully, we finish off these last 2 weeks strong. Will, looking forward to the remainder of this season. And unfortunately, I'll be saying my goodbye to the broadcast booth. I'll be behind the wheel for next season here on the Monday Night Series. So enjoying these last few weeks working with you, buddy, and working with you as well, our producer, Adam Flieger. So excited to see what these last few weeks bring us on to Talladega next week. Thank you all for tuning in, and we wish you all a good night.